Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are, I suppose. Saturday, 2 weeks ago, Moonrise now. How about that? Since again, people are in different situations, and we would prefer for them to not stay in slightly uncomfortable positions for overly long, we're just going to begin. Nice and quick. Somebody tell me what happened last time we played, please.
I got you. So, last time we came back to us continuing to travel after the somber time we had with the death of Nikolai. We met up with this mercenary group from a distance after traveling. It was a friendly interaction, and the biggest thing that happened, honestly, was meeting Ivar. Well, the whole group hasn't met Ivar, I don't believe. I think only Mordechai has met Ivar.
Mm-hmm.
But we made some new friends. We got to learn more about the kind of undead, Merker type creatures that we had been fighting from this mercenary group. We were able to pass information on to them, and we had or at least Kenna had a very nice wrestling match at the end.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of role play, a lot of social roles, and it was a good time.
Did we miss anything? Anybody?
The most important thing, obviously, is that there was a bet.
There was.
Yes.
Also, Ivar knows Mordechai. As Lars, of course, but kind of important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, music, thank you for bringing that up. So we're just going to start in on that, actually. We're going to dole out people's winnings. Which, if you bet 10 gold, which was kind of the opening bet that everyone was sort of tossing into the pot, if you bet on Kenna to win, hang on, my brain is suddenly going through shutdown. Give me a second.
I did not win.
You did not win. Yeah, that much. Yeah, that much I remember. Hang on. I didn't have my. I didn't. Yeah, it was very, very, very close. I did not have my notes in front.
I was about to say, like, let's be real. The last hour of that session was spent with the wrestling, and that was a pretty big thing. It was great.
It was. It was a very big thing. So, again, if you bet on Kenna, I mean, you lost, so you're not getting your money back. If you bet on Lee, you would have earned yourself. Hang on, map is fun. You would have made yourself 8 gold, so you'd get the 10 gold you got back, and then you'd make 8. If you bet another variant number, I didn't write it down, so have some free gold.
Have some free gold.
And let's be honest, if you were betting lower than all the other people, what were you even doing there?
I've been saving this for a minute. After Kenna is done wrestling, I'm going to walk up and pat her on the ass with the cure wounds and just say, "Good job, champ."
I'm also gonna healing word first level Lee.
Mm-hmm.
The medic time.
Lee recovers pretty quickly.
Okay. You know what? Just for the point of it, I have 8, Lee. Dude,
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Even with the magic, you'll watch, even after that initial burst has ceased, you'll watch as Lee's the bruises and a couple of the scrapes Lee suffered will just kind of gradually begin healing themselves. likely has a natural form of regeneration.
Cool.
That being said, off of the back of the wrestling match, which again is really hard to sort of come back into after what was like an incredible high, and now it's just like, wait, it's been 2 weeks, that feeling's gone. Everyone kind of dissipates back to their, their own sides of the camp. The White Cross Company once again settling in around the small fire that they've built. And you watch as everyone takes up their original positions that they had before, and you'll watch as Asan, the mountain dwarf, he will reach into his pack and pull out a brown paper package tied off with a string, and he'll pull the string open and it'll unfold, and you'll see there's some sort of baked pastry cut into squares inside. He begins handing them out between the White Cross Company members. If any of you arrive back at the fire around that time, he will also offer you a piece.
Oh, you know I'm getting me a pastry.
Yeah. Gotta get
Lars would have made his way back to the fire and would accept a lovely pastry, some actual food for once.
It's delicious. It's this flaky layered pastry with a paste of grounded nuts between the layers, and then soaked in some sort of sticky syrup. Your real world comparison, it's baklava.
Oh, heaven. That's so good.
Yeah, it's about a week old, so it could be a little bit better, but
Not
after
so good.
yeah, I mean, after traveling like how you guys have been and roughing it like you've been, this is the closest thing you've had to some fresh baked goods in a while, and it's still pretty good. You can't really complain.
It's a little flat. a little bit smushed.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's been wrapped in a package and then carried around in his backpack, and they've been marching through the wilderness in the snow for a solid week, killing monsters. Yeah, it could be in better shape. After all of that's done and people begin to settle back down, like I said, the White Cross Company, they seem very informal, but they have a routine that's very obviously followed. All of them are back around the fire. They have 2 members still that have returned to patrol, keeping an eye on the perimeter around the camp. Occasionally, one of them will go over to the other side of the road and check on the civilians that are the survivors they saved from the attack. But otherwise, they're just kind of waiting until it's bedtime and everyone kind of can settle in again. So in this position, what are people interested in doing with their time before bed? Because I'll be darned, I know someone mentioned something last week, and it was like, yeah, we won't actually do the long rest thing yet. And so I know there's something, but I don't remember what it was because I didn't write a note for it.
I was gonna do patrol with the...
Yeah, patrol's easy enough to do.
There's that.
Given the time frame, we're actually just going to put you into the first watch shift with one of the White Cross Company members, which will be a little 2-hour stint of patrolling the woods.
Sounds good. Need any rolls for that?
Not yet.
Okay.
Get that when we get.
What was the music?
I just say we'll get there when we get there. But there is one thing I'd like to check in.
Yes.
As Ivar is their healer for right now. He'd like to check in on the wounded, any wounded, before joining Lars. If he'd grab a bit of the pastry, then slip away like he does and check on them, make sure they're okay, and then come back.
Sure thing. You can wander over to the other side of the road with the upright wagons. in the family that is gathered there. Again, in a bit of shock still. That much is clear. And, you know, grieving for the loss of their family. You can go between them and check up on their wounds and see how they're doing physically and mentally. Make a medicine check. And an insight check.
Okay. Medicine, insight. Nice. Okay. Good start. Good start.
Nice opening. Most of the wounds they've suffered, due to the fact that you stumbled onto them mid-ambush, are pretty superficial. They've got scratches and scrapes, bruises, and for the father who got embroiled in the actual physical fight, a couple of claw marks across his abdomen, of which you've spent some time already healing. Everything looks fine in terms of their physical ailments. Psychologically, however, they reasonably so look pretty beat up.
Okay.
You think for the time being, I mean, they're going to be functional. They're going to be able to, you know, get their wagon moving again, and, you know, trundle on down the road as normal. But you think that this wound and the way that they lost their family to these just horrific monsters is going to leave a mark for sure. And who knows how long that'll take to heal.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was in the right time frame to start doing therapy. Not yet. Okay. Yeah. After checking on them, he'll slip back to the rest of the group, and join Lars, and I'll wait for to make sure everyone else gets their stuff out of the way before I continue, because I have a feeling it may be long.
Word. All right. I mean, who's next? Anybody got anything else?
Well, I did want to introduce myself to Ivar. Rude not to. It depends if I can actually see him next to Lars this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to do. Ivar's pretty slippery in that he moves around the camp and is unexpectedly in one spot and then not in another. But it's pretty easy to you know, keep an eye on Lars, and you see he tends to gravitate back towards him. So it's pretty easy to catch him with that pattern acknowledged.
Okay. Nice. I will do so. Kind of try not to bring attention. And yeah. Go say hi to Lars and Ivar, I suppose. And they would walk in and just go like, "Oh, hello, Lars. And you must be Ivar, correct?"
Yes. Who,
I'm Edelweiss.
nice
I
to meet you.
just want to introduce myself since, it'd be rude otherwise too, I feel. So you also have a mask like our companion as well.
Yes, it's rather nice actually.
Almost makes me want to have a mask now. Mystery is quite alluring and fun, but now I'd go to the trouble of finding one. Your mask seems to fit you well, though.
I like to think so. Although sometimes it does the opposite of its purpose. Where when someone sees a masked figure walking around, they become a little bit more intrigued than they otherwise would. But learn to deal with it.
True. Or you can always take off a mask and then no one will really realize who you are. Wearing it, not wearing it. Just having it kind of helps, I think. How are the victims of what happened? You've been checking on them, right?
Yes, I've been taking care of them. The last bit, they physically fine. They're a little shaken up. A little. It's an understatement. But yes, that it was rather jarring. They went through.
Knowing what we've seen, I can't imagine being otherwise. But as long as they are physically alright, they'll eventually recover. More or less in time.
Hmm.
I just hope they get to wherever they need to safely. It wouldn't be fun to find any more creatures lurking around on their travels. Especially if worse happens.
Indeed.
You seem like I don't want to interrupt, so have a good evening, both of you. This kind of like hand up wave to Lars.
Rest well, Edelweiss.
Oh,
Hmm?
if you guys sleep as a party, I can offer at least some protection from the elements tonight. I can offer a protected dome. That's if you want to sleep as a group tonight with the stranger. But,
I mean, we're going to sleep at camp, correct? So. I'm curious what.
I think what Edelweiss is saying is we're going to be safe here, regardless of putting up a bubble for us, but I appreciate the gesture. I don't know about my colleagues, though.
Indeed. I do appreciate it. It's always nice for having a little bit of help. Again, we've been through a lot, so. Just kind of shakes their head. I think I'll turn in for the night. I'm really exhausted, and I think it'll do much good if I actually get some rest tonight.
good night. Sleep well.
They just take a nod. And vamos.
Alrighty then. Anyone next?
Kind of goes searching for Edelweiss.
Simple enough.
Find them.
Yeah, you can intercept Edelweiss as they're heading back to find a comfortable place to begin preparing for bed.
But excuse me as I'm munching on something.
Edelweiss, you wanted to speak to me? Okay.
I did, but I was taking a walk and I think I should probably tell everyone tomorrow. I could tell you now, but I'll gather the group tomorrow anyways.
It's your decision. You asked to speak to me, so I came to find you.
Yes, it's your decision if you want to hear it now or tomorrow. Again.
I'm already standing here.
Very well. Let's take a walk, I suppose.
As you wish, but let's not walk far.
Of course. I can at least see in the dark, so if there's anything in the vicinity, well, actually, I'm not really good at spotting things. We're not gonna walk far anyways. Is there already like patrol going on?
Yeah, there's actively 2 sentries patrolling the camp at all times. They're about they're about a kilometer out, circling around.
Would that include Gwen already, or that's like
Not yet, no.
actual watch? Okay.
That is not.
Gwen's just-
It does not include Gwen.
Gwen is
Currently,
still vibing.
yeah, currently it's Private Lionel and Private Kari who are doing the patrol.
Yeah. I probably would like pass by one of them to in the vicinity, so like they would know some people are walking out, but you know, kind of the not look like we're going not. I don't think there's any way to convey like we're not going to go far. Just like a small like hand wave.
You could just say it.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking quietly, but whatever. I guess I would say that as I pass them, as we pass them.
All right, just don't wander too far. There are monsters in the woods.
We're quite aware of that already, but thank you. I mean, yeah. You know, my apologies.
So what is it otherwise?
Remember?
Does this have to do with why you're out here?
Indeed. Remember the last thing you told me in our private conversation?
Go on.
Yeah, that's part of the reason it's when Frix first came into Nikolai's body. I wasn't really jarred thinking about those bad memories back long ago. I just realized it seems I have a portion of his power, but I can't control it. Haven't been able to, haven't been brave enough to face it, or ready to face it, rather. And I have to do something now. Rex is here, and if he so desires, I would like him to help at least understand it. I guess that's not all to it, though. I also told you I picked up on your relation to Mastune. Mastune? What was the pronunciation on that, sir?
You were right the second time.
Mastune. Actually, I was actually told that by my master. Maybe I shouldn't refer them as master. I kind of did that for the whimsy, but I am also allied with the Fae.
I had a feeling.
Obvious.
It's obvious only because I could see you had an inkling about what gave me power.
Yeah. I don't know how much you know about the other Archon, but, well, I'm not lying when I say that I'm sure nothing will come to harm to Frix if he does not desire any part in it. That's how he operates, after all. But I'm gonna explain that to the rest of the group tomorrow. You don't have to say anything, of course. I'm just telling you now. Those of us playing don't really trust the Fae. I can't blame them,
I'm
but...
aware. Kenna just kind of like interrupts otherwise. And he goes, you can save all of that for the rest of the people. But to me, what I want you to do is tell me in simple words. She like looks up words. Yes, simple words. Why you are staying here. And then we'll stare at Edelweiss.
Okay. Back at the fort, I would have to explain more. Do you know much about Archon Rixus? Rixies?
Rixus.
I've never pronounced
Not a lot.
Rixus.
Kenna, make a history check.
Okay. History, you say?
Yep.
Getting my skills. I rolled a 12. I have a +2. That's 14.
Well, your statement rings true. You don't know a ton about the Archon Rixus, other than he is the one that oversees the Summer Court, and whose people are relatively militant. He's just the best way to think about it, and the way it would have been described to you, is that Archon Rixus is no nonsense. Rules and beliefs, and if they are betrayed, then the betrayer is dealt with. That's the simplest way to put it. But beyond
so
that,
like, from my understanding, is it like Catholicism's a heretic kind of thing? Like you kind of follow your set standards ahead of you, and if you go against them, you're kind of an outcast and dealt with. Okay, cool.
That's what you were taught.
Cool. Yeah, so McKenna just goes, not a whole lot. Just more about their people or their followers.
Fair. The Archons.
No, go ahead.
I suppose he's known for a few things. One, of course, is just what's that word? Well, he's an artist in every single way possible, I suppose. The other is something that they don't quite like at all. That's where I come in. Those who don't have a home, those whose home is more of a prison, a nightmare, any such things, especially children. He takes them in, gives them a home, gives them somewhere to be safe. Usually children.
Kenna interrupts it always one more time.
I haven't been groomed or anything. This is my choice to serve him, after all.
Kenna smirks. Edelweiss. I'm sure the others are going to have plenty of questions if they do. I'm going to tell you right now, like I asked, why are you here? I don't need a background. I don't need an explanation. I just need to know why you're here.
I haven't finished. When we were at the fort, I asked him to see if Kalina could have a home. She had none. She may be on the older side, but eventually she said no. But I didn't want to give up on her, of course. Just because she didn't want to live in the Summer Court doesn't mean she didn't deserve a good life. That's also what the Archon believes in, after all. But you know what happened to her.
I'm aware.
I don't want that to happen to Frix. I don't know how much I can do, but he as uncomfortable as it is a little bit to me, but he has no home. He has He
So you're
just
here?
doesn't know this world. I like to make sure he's safe.
So you're currently here to make sure Thrix can get a home or
I want.
Archon.
I think Frix would say no, honestly, to the offer.
So you're staying here to protect Thrix right now?
Sort of. I just want to see it through and do whatever I can do. I hear he likes music. I've heard. Maybe I can bring
Okay.
a little bit of joy to him too. But
Well-
then, of course, and if he decides to help me with my powers, that would be nice. It's currently sealed, so there's no danger, of course.
I'm not
But
concerned. Well, for tomorrow then, when you tell the others, make sure you start off with why you're here, and then you can explain to them, if they will listen, as to what caused it to be that way. But they're going to want to know the why before the explanation.
fair. I'm not quite good at these, so thank you for the advice.
You're welcome. And thank you for telling me. It's a noble cause what you want to do for Thrix, so if we have to fight, then I won't feel bad about protecting you.
I believe in cooperation, and regardless of your standing, I'd like to help. I'm, of course, not the most talented. I have plenty of knowledge, but not too much on some things, but
Otherwise,
I'll
you
do
have
what I
talents,
can.
you just have to believe in them.
Oh, of course I do. It's just not the ones that are usually, what people might consider useful.
Well,
Of course,
if I've learned anything, it doesn't matter what other people think are useful.
Oh.
You know how to use it. But
Of course. That's what
Yeah.
Rixus believes as well. He has
So-
much belief in me. Whether I fail or not, he would still be happy if I learned something.
of course,
He's really kind. And he's more hands-on than Mestune, I've heard. But I don't really know too much about her either.
I'll put it like this, and then I'm going to go to bed. If she has to be hands-on, something has gone wrong. Because I have not been able to handle it myself.
I see.
But
Good night, Kenna. Let's...
you're not otherwise. Make
I
sure you
think-
tell everyone.
I will.
Jen turns off and walks away.
Otherwise, we'll walk a bit more,
Still-
but...
Still stretching shoulders after being thrown into the ground several We gotta work those shoulder blades out.
Otherwise, kind of watches, kind of like... Because if she's doing it particularly obvious, like, huh. But, you know. Take a bit more of a walk and then head to bed because exhaustion level 1 means they're still very, very sleepy. Just gonna calm down.
All right, on your way back. If no one has any other pointed business, I think this is when we jump back to Ivar. So now's your chance. Ivar it is.
Okay. Yeah. You just sort of watch a bit. Mostly focusing on the troop traveling with Lars and the interesting grouping that they are. And after a bit, he'll approach Lars. Do you trying to remember the phrasing? Where we left off. 2 weeks is a hell of a drug. Okay. I believe you wanted to talk a bit before going to bed tonight?
Yes, I would very much like to.
Okay. Follow me. He'll just turn around abruptly, walk away a bit. He'll be near the camp, but generally a bit away from the fire. Sort of, if there's any place to nestle somewhere, he'd be there.
I mean, plenty of space. The important question is it inside or outside the sentries?
Inside the sentries.
Okay. Yeah. Very easy to find a place. Again, water wilderness. All you have to do is find a rock, brush some snow off of it. You know, it's nestled in between some trees. Pretty easy to do.
Before leaving, Lars would ask. He would go to Porsche, do a hand signal, and say, "Gather my stuff, please. I won't be too long." As he walks away,
Mm-hmm.
and then he'll follow Ivar.
I found the little spot to nestle, brushing a little bit off. Sit. If you want the bubble for privacy's sake, it won't do much, but I can do it. Otherwise, I don't.
I think for this instance, privacy would be the best thing.
Okay. Well, in 11 minutes. Ritual casting tiny hut.
Yep.
Whoa, love the spell. Anyway, so you see, he as you say that, he'll sort of nod and sit cross-legged, and he'll just go extremely motionless for a second, and then clasp an amulet underneath his clothing. Remember the word for like over armor or over clothing. And it will start to pulse rhythmically. And after the 11 minutes, a dome of probably, I'd say, this is a snow-covered forest, right? So it's still snow on the ground.
Yep.
A dark, like dim gray bubble will appear, and for making sure, all of Lars's troop is allowed in, and no one else. Also Porsche.
Really went without saying.
Yeah, just making sure. Inside it is very nice, temperate, a little bit warmer. It's very cozy. But yeah, with a nice dim light in the center. Okay, this will do. The company has seen me do this before when I wanted privacy. Before someone else wanted privacy, could allow it.
Okay.
Could we-
Go on.
I just, where do we start? You were gonna say?
Lars brings out the Gilderoy dagger, non-threateningly. It's like literally, it's just like very casual. Just pulls it out and starts like he's fidgeting with something. He's just twirling it around his fingers, and he'll stand there and he'll take a breath in, and he'll say, "What do you know about me, Ivar?"
give me a second to make sure I have specific. That. I guess that's actually. What do I remember exactly besides the basic find? Because I obviously know what he looks like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you know what he looks like. You're familiar with his family. You know, mom, dad, you know, stepsister. You're familiar with the business that you were a part of. Granted, specific memories of your day-to-day workings are pretty fuzzy and hazy now. And you remember your boss, Eric Rudigum, the dwarf, who was always a little bit rough around the edges, but was still very considerate and helpful, and a damn good worker of metal.
Okay.
Yeah, and other than that, the thing that resonates more is less about Lars and more about his father, and that his father was a very charismatic, charming individual who initially this was just a job to you, but the longer you worked there, the more you really actually kind of felt like helping the family was helping like civilization take a step forward, and so it was a greater purpose after a while. Frederick von Bismarck.
Okay.
So weird.
Okay. Okay. You'll see he'll sort of cock his head. He stays quiet for a moment, process, and then he'll start with a deep breath. I remember your family. Vaguely who I worked under, though I can't remember the specific time. It pauses for a moment. Let's see. Father, charismatic, worked in weaponry? Ranged weaponry? Yes. I believe we're ranged. Eric, who was my boss, okay. And you sort of see, like, as he's talking, he's also piecing it together.
Yep. Lars, at any point you can make an insight check.
Yeah, no, that's straight away. Ooh, that's a bit sucky. Wrong sheet. Insight, that's a solid 10.
Okay.
Total.
Ivar, make a persuasion check.
Okay. Very good.
Okay. Lars, as Ivar is kind of stumbling through this, it is obvious to you that the things he's recalling, they seem genuine, but he's having a hard time remembering them, and that you don't understand.
He sort of like stops the dagger like twirling for a second, and he just goes, "You seem to be struggling about remembering these people. That speaks to me is that you haven't seen them or talked to them in a long time. Is that true?"
Time past a certain point is a little bit. Memory past a certain point is a bit weird. And that I can remember. I have not talked. Not that I know of, although I would think I would remember them. It's
You are. Sorry, go on.
no. You go. You go.
But he'll sort of looking a bit more flustered than normal. He'll ask, you know the reason, not the reason, what happened to my family with regards to the fire?
I believe this would fall under the not exact specifics, but no, generally what happened.
Roll a history check.
Okay. And before you did, okay, I'm going to DM you something.
Also reminded. While you're DMing me that, I just wanted to make a point of saying, for those of you, I read everyone's meta homework. I didn't grade it. Everyone gets a 3.
Oh, nice.
So, in case any of you were wondering about that.
Thank you, DM.
Yeah, sorry. I did read through everybody's stuff last night. I just never got around to tabbing the 3.
I honestly was just gonna take none and suffer the session.
That's not the right
You
choice.
suffered enough. Suffered enough.
I sent it to you, Dyer.
Go for it.
Okay.
We got it.
Seems a thematic and appropriate time to use for it.
A 16.
Okay, Ivar, when Lars asks you that question, you have a moment where you kind of freeze. Lars, you notice this. It's very brief, but like he has a moment where like you could see he was like interacting with you, and then suddenly he grows very still, very abruptly. And in that moment for you, Ivar, you remember the bright, hot fire that was beginning to overwhelm the warehouse, and in the great distance, the first signs of it catching fire to the estate. And then you remember a sharp, painful stabbing sensation. And that's it.
Okay. After the freeze, he'll sort of shake his head a bit, and you'll see he like reaches for a portion of his chest, sort of like feels it, then breathes out rather shakily. I saw the house or the estate catch fire. Starts. Then stab? Wait. It's if oh look at Lars. If you don't mind, I'm going to take off my armor, check the spot where it was. It's going to take him a bit because it's breastplate, but if you allow, he'll start undoing his armor. Seems rather shaken, even behind the mask. Which at this point, when taking off the armor, he would also take off the mask.
Do I recognize his his features in his face?
Well, you've seen his face before, and going back to this, yes, you certainly recognize him as someone that you've seen working for your family.
Yeah, okay. As he's taking off the armor, Lars will he'll just give some reassurances. He'll be like, "It's okay. It's okay. It was a very traumatic event. I barely escaped with my life. The head butler Gerald Max. Gerald. He managed to get me out with my father, some of my father's belongings. Got me onto onto a carriage, and sent me far away for my protection. Unfortunately, I had no plan. The only plan I had was revenge. So I had to do things which I'm not proud of. I joined the hegemony to try and get closer and to keep myself hidden. I know that's something that my father would probably would have given me a good hiding for, but you got to make sacrifices sometimes. And I can tell you, honestly, the 5 years to get back, even as remotely as close as I am here today, has been nothing short of the biggest challenge of my life. And to meet you, Ivar, who I know, I've seen your face, has brought up a lot of emotions in me to try and resolve this in some way. I know we were attacked, and if you were stabbed, I guess our histories are entwined.
It's at that point where Ivar has removed the breastplate and kind of pulls aside the under armor where he was previously touching, and you can see that clear as day an old healed over scar where it looks like he was stabbed straight through the heart.
How did you survive? Mars puts away his dagger in kind of like a, why was I even twiddling this around? That's bloody weird. Puts it away.
It stares at it for a bit. Did I? Like I said, it's a bit hazy past a certain point. It's like looking at a lake that was once clear and now is murky. You know what's underneath. Vaguely. Can't see it anymore. What? He's touching it. This is weird. Does it hurt to touch?
No.
Okay.
To distract you from that and hopefully not bring back too bad of memories, I'll tell you what I'm currently doing with this band of people. We're on our way to the Bismarck estate. I got wind from a friend that that my sister has taken over the estate. Atreya.
Vaguely remember.
Make another history check.
Oh.
Basically, whenever a pointed specific detail comes up from Lars, Ivar, I'm going to want you to roll a history check.
Also, about the D6 can't say that. What about the butler too?
Yeah, let's roll back on that one too.
the next history check will be for the butler then. I'm gonna throw another d6 on that.
Okay.
That one saved. 15.
Okay. You hear him mention his sister Atreya, and nothing.
Nothing.
There's a big dark void there. As for the butler, yeah, you remember Gerald. He asked that you refer to him as Mr. M. It was a lot easier. A very old elf, and for elves, I do mean old. His age was beginning to show, which means he was probably in his upper 800s. So someone that's been around and seen quite a lot of things, was proficient in sword fighting, but was also an exceptional keeper of the estate. Made sure everything was in order, knew everybody's name and history and where they came from, was very personable. It was very easy to look at him as like a guardian or even a father figure.
Ivar and him probably got on well. Okay. That's not how you spell your sister's name. I know how to spell your sister's name. I know it somewhere. Okay. I don't remember Freya. I do remember Butler. He was nice.
Well, Lars looks kind of confused. Like it's like he knows that Ivar was around, but he's really confused how he's not, like, the whole thing's not there, and you can see like he's like kind of like confused slightly by what Ivar is saying. And he'll sort of like just like walk up and approach you and just like sort of put a hand on your shoulder and just go, "Are you okay? What happened? Do you remember anything?"
Sort of rubs a bit. It's hard to hat. I remember bits and pieces. The muscle memory still there. Medicine. Sneaky. That part still there. The exact I got to that hard times they're there, sometimes not. The people is very much the same way. Like I remember the butler quite plainly. For the family, a decent bit, but Treya ring a bell. For what happened, it's still hard to process itself. It's I guess how much does he remember of the time between? Because I don't know what it's like to go through that. Does he remember any of it, or is it like bad dream?
Well, it most certainly, when he recalls that time, it feels like he's recalling a bad dream.
Okay.
As for the specifics, they're going to vary day to day, so let's see how today is going with another history check.
Okay. I'm gonna throw the last d6 on there. It's a 16.
Again, not a perfect recollection. Your metaphor earlier was pretty spot on. Like what a crystal clear lake looks like until all the mud on the bottom is kicked up. You can see and know bits and pieces of it, but you can't see everything in perfect clarity anymore. So you remember a lot of the time, but a lot of the specifics are very hazy.
Huh. Okay. You probably know this experience too well, but you ever think back and feel like you're remembering a bad dream, a night terror, but you know it's not a dream, that it was real? It very much time experience is nightmarish, but no specific. So I woke up.
Lazel will say, weirdly, I do not remember that night via a bad dream. My dreams are, you could say, slightly worse. My dreams are of about people I've killed in the past. Good people, bad people. Sometimes people I don't even know. My father. All asking me why I'm doing this. And I can never give them the answer because I don't know if what I'm doing is right. But I've told you what I'm going to be doing. I've told you my main goal. My main goal is to not take back. I need to talk with my sister first, but to bring the von Bismarck name back. To bring it, to make sure that everyone is aware that we've never left. And the attack was nothing more than just something that can be recovered from. Because, mark my words, I will find who did this and I will kill them myself. But I want to know, Ivar, where your place in all of this will rest.
Well, right now, it is simply to help. I've been able to do much along my path, and now that I found you, it'll be easier to help.
I would gladly accept that help, Ivar. As much as we've recently lost a friend, gaining a new ally so quickly would be a phenomenal help. I can rely on my current group to support me. I'd be willingly accept your help too. But we can talk some other time. For now, I don't want to overstress your memory. You seem to be trying to cope with a lot of memory loss and a lot of things that don't quite appear as vividly in my memory as it does yours.
Fortunately, so. But, as I've been walking, they've coming back very slowly. I think what I need is that sense.
I'll tell you now. Our current mission is to go to Stenholm. We've got to deal with Strix and visit Krista Overguard. She has more information about my sister, and we also need to tell her about what happened about his brother. And Lars will get kind of sad while saying that.
Oh. I would ask who. 'Cause I don't. Twix and Chris Overguard aren't exactly familiar names. Me, top of my head, but not a lot is. But can sort of tell. I could tell since you've been in camp. You've sort of worn it in your speech and in your form. All of you have. I guess it was someone you worked with? Although I don't the specific, so
Lars would be kind of dismissive and just say, I was searching for clues about my family for 5 years, and he was the best lead I had. But not only is that, he was a good friend, even though I only knew him for a month, maybe. He was the best help I had, and he's not here anymore. We lost him yesterday. Well, today. He checks the moon to see if it's to see what time it is.
Same day.
oh,
So forgive us for sounding sober and somber and upset.
that's fair. I tend to actually be around people like that. I guess it's the medicinal nature within me.
Lars will sort of like he'll rub his eyes and like rub his forehead, and you can tell like he's tired, like he's getting really tired. He looks like he's had a rough day, and he's kind of like, I've got so many more questions to ask you, but I don't want to continue on much more. Like, how did you come across the White Cross? The gaps in between the 5 years. What were you doing, and all that sort of stuff. I'll ask that later. But if you have any questions for me, don't hesitate to ask.
That's funny. So you say 5 years, and he sort of just pauses and looks at you, and looks at his hands. 5 years? Has it been 5 years?
Yeah, it's 5 years. I've been away 5 years. I am 25. The fire happened when I was 20. Looking extremely confused.
So, that's also something. Does Ivar remember what he used to look like before the fire?
Lars or Ivar?
Ivar. Does Ivar remember what Ivar used to look like? As in, can he tell that he's aged 5 years or has not aged 5 years?
Fun question. Ivar has not aged 5 years.
Oh. That would be. Wow. Okay. It's like, huh? Good to know. Looks at his hands again. Okay.
Insight that reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Like suspicious raised eyebrow. Oh wow, Ryan. That's a natural one. That's a natural one. So for a total of 2.
Mm-hmm. It's not that you go, oh well, nothing's weird here. You can't gather any information. There's no observable tells for you to gather.
If anything, it's too weird.
Mm-hmm.
Lars is just like, it's like if steam was going to come from his ears, steam would be coming from his ears right now. This whole thing is throwing for a loop. You see him like start pacing a bit. He's pacing around a bit.
Lars, question.
Yes, Ivar, please. Something so I can take my mind off what you've just said.
Well, this isn't going to help. Do I look like I did on that day?
Lars just stands still, sighs, looks up at the sky and what did I do to deserve this? Turns around and looks over at looks Ivar over and tries to remember what he looked like and tries to compare the two.
History check.
Natural one again.
Oh my god! What did you roll?
Just don't remember. Again, it's not like you had it's not like he was your best friend, someone that worked for your family. You've seen him and you know his face is familiar, but you don't know for certain.
To be honest, Ivar, I have no idea. As much as my father and Gerald were very good with names and faces, unfortunately, that's something that I never really took too much attention to. Please don't be upset.
Who am I to judge? I literally can't remember people. You're fine.
True. But
I am not.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't. I know your name, and I can remember a face, but it's like looking at someone who you've passed many times at a bar. You know their features, but you don't know them specifically just by staring at them.
No, that makes sense. Something.
And he'll like spin around and kind of like just scratching stubble, really thinking about what he wants to say, but he's looking drained. Like he's like his features are like almost paper white, like the blood is just there's no energy, there's just complete, like he's marching around, but it's amazing he's actually been able to do this at the moment. So he just sort of like just finds somewhere to sit and just sits down, sort of scratching his forehead, head in his hands, so to speak, waiting for anything else to be said.
If you ever look at Ivar again, he has a look of worry of like it's two sides of like, man, that person is clearly having a rough go of it. And then there's the medic side of like, he should really sit down. Do you, if anything, feel like you should get some?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, if you need any help with your memory, we're in this together now, so I guess I can be honest and straight with you, but please don't refer to me as Lars around other people, because if those people who attacked out my family are still out hunting for me, and I'm pretty sure they are, if my name comes up, it'll be impossible to get back to Harbor and the estate. And that is why my feelings towards Atreya are that of caution. I never really did have a fantastic relationship with my sister to begin with, so... Big eye roll.
Good. One last thing. Well, I guess last thing, two things. One, the dome will be up for another 7 hours, 40 minutes.
Or until you leave it.
Or until I leave it, yes. So if you want to stay in the comfort of the dome, it is you and your party's choice. And also, speaking of your party, who are they? Do you trust them? Because if you trust them, I trust them. But,
Who do I trust out of the group? I'll tell you who I trust. I trust all of them. Some more than others, obviously. But I trust them. Because if they were against me, I'm pretty sure I would have been outed from the very beginning. In fact, that was the first time. The first time I met them, I was honest and open for the first time in so many years that it was very jarring, and it kind of put me on this course. So, I guess the moral of the story is always be honest and open. He sort of giggles at that to himself. But he'll sort of look back your way, Ivar, and he'll say, "No, I trust these people. I trust them with my life. I would happily lay down my life for these people. So they've all got their own goals, some known, some unknown, but they are very trustworthy people. And as you can tell, losing someone after a month, and you can see their reactions, you cannot tell me that that's not genuine. We're all at a loss for Nikolai." And then he'll sort of just go, "I would much rather cuddle with Portia for a good night's sleep. But thank you very much for the offer. If you would like to pass that around, be my guest. I would like to go to sleep. It has been a very good conversation, Ivar. I hope you have a good night, and I hope you don't have any nightmares." He'll slap his thighs and stand up, waiting for you to give him like a, "You're gonna be alright," and then he'll leave.
Just, okay. Good night, Martyr. So we're going to take a bit to get used to.
Lars will awkwardly nod and then just turn and walk away.
And awkwardly walk away he does. I'm assuming you're heading back to where Portia is in the fire?
Yes.
Okay.
Who's
All right.
a good girl?
This is last call for anything else before bedtime. All right. In which case, last thing we need to cover before the long rest officially takes hold are watch shifts. If anyone wants to participate in them other than Gwyn, who has already volunteered.
Ivar could do the third and fourth if necessary.
I want to sleep.
Okay, I'll include Ivar in the third and fourth.
Kenna will take a watch, hopefully with the Triton woman.
She is on first with Gwyn.
Wrestle me to be unlocked at the tribe one.
Okay. Kenna will go last then. That should be like right before sunrise, right?
Yep. Oh,
Okay.
well, no, actually. Because it is dark
winter,
for long, y'all.
Yeah, because it's winter. That's right. Well, she'll go fourth watch. That's fine.
Okay.
Is the moon out tonight?
That's a great question. Let me double check. It's a little cloudy, but in between banks of clouds, you can see the half moon that is out.
Okay, then yeah, I'll go in fourth.
Okay, so second and third, so Whitecross is more than capable of filling these out. So if no one else wants to volunteer, they can easily fill in the gaps. Okay. Second watch is going to be Racker and Asan. And then third is initially with Ivar is going to be William, Sergeant. And then fourth is going to be Ivar, Kenna, and Kara, or Kari.
Okay.
Alrighty then. I want, well, let me see. Essentially, I'm going to take one dice roll from everybody that's on watch. So I want one d20 from Gwen, one from Ivar, and one from Kenna.
Just a d20?
Oh boy!
Plain
Perception?
old flat d20.
Oh, just plain d20. Okay.
Just plain d20.
That's a 7
Understood.
for me.
That's a natural one for me.
I got a 17.
Okay.
I think we're getting all these natural ones because I soaked up so many natural 20s during my wrestling match.
It's balancing out.
It is.
I'm sitting next to him in the car, contaminating his dice.
Oh yeah, no, that's it. That is it. The luck thief.
So the last thing, given Gwen's role, is so nothing is going to happen this night, as assured by the adventure roadmap. However, while Gwen and Lee, the two of you are on watch, doing the sentry rounds. You've noticed, Gwen, by this point that Lee, any of the damage she sustained wrestling with Kenna, which there was some, she got body slammed into a sharp, jagged rock at one point. All of the bruises and all of the cuts and scrapes have all completely healed by now. She seems like it never even happened. Partway through your watch, Lee is just going to, after what was complete silence for a long period of time, Lee's just going to begin speaking. So what are you?
I beg your pardon?
What are you? I can smell you from a mile away. What are you?
Consider me an ally.
Oh, you're one of those. Consider me a shark. And then she just keeps walking.
I follow along behind her.
Okay. Nothing
How
else
did you
is
know?
said. Unless you carry on the conversation. Do you?
I do.
Okay. Then go on.
You say you can smell me?
Mm-hmm.
What are you then?
I told you already. A shark.
Consider me a wolf.
What I thought. Smell like a wet dog.
I consider that one of my charms.
That's very unfortunate.
Better than smelling like a drunk.
Sounds like a sad and unfulfilling life. How long has it been for you?
Better than 2 decades, I'd say.
And have you gained any control over it yet?
Not the kind that I'd like.
Hmm.
Some days damn near none at all. Have you?
Yes.
How so?
Where I come from, people like me are not uncommon. It's a genetic trait from my tribe. We have individuals that have lived with this for hundreds of years. And so that the oceans do not run red with our fury, they teach us how to control it.
I'll not be with you very long. Can you teach me the beginning of some of that?
It is a shame that we are parting ways. I would be interested in seeing what you could do.
In the morning, we could spar.
Really no time for it. Contrary to my nature, I do take my job quite seriously.
And who might I find who could teach me something like this? We don't walk this road without finding others who have learned to walk it better.
Well, I would point you to the Horde Sea, but I suspect you can't survive underwater for prolonged periods of time. In which case,
Not one of my charms.
I would point you somewhere else that I've encountered in my travels recently since coming to Belwyn. Go all the way north to the edge of the country, you'll find a duchy called Silver Shore. There were several of your type there. It seemed unusually common, in fact. The whole place reeked of wet dog.
Seems like my kind of place. And they can control it like you can.
Well, the whole duchy hasn't been set ablaze yet, and everyone is living with each other. I suspect something, someone, somewhere is helping them keep it all in line. It isn't like the rest of the world where types like us are hunted.
Silver Shore.
Silver Shore.
Anybody in particular you'd like me to seek out?
Just head there, find a town, and begin asking. I don't know who you need to speak to. I just know someone there probably can help.
Fair enough. Thanks for the tip.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever regret it? Would you ever turn it around if you could?
You cut out a little on the last part of that sentence. What?
Yeah, you can go.
Do you ever regret it? Would you ever turn it around if you could?
I can't regret something I never had a choice in. I was born this way. But if it were, say, passed on to me by a less than polite individual, if I were still part of my tribe and I had those people around me that could help, no, nothing would change. But I've seen what has happened to those that have been left to their own devices. It isn't pretty. If I was perhaps someone like you, it would be a much greater struggle to live with myself.
It is. It is. And some days I don't know why I don't seek a cure. I think this makes me strong in ways that otherwise I would not be. Likewise weak in other ways I would not be. But as its uses. Thank you.
Just keep your eyes open. We still have our job to do.
Of course.
And you will finish out the remainder of the watch in relative silence. The other watches.
I was gonna say, when we split to go to bed, I would just say, by the way, good show tonight. And then I...
Mm-hmm. The rest of the watches are mostly uneventful. The occasional sighting of a critter running off into the forest. A good sign, if nothing else, seeing that there's still some forest life out there. But everything else is uneventful. Everyone will eventually find their time and acquire a long rest.
In the last watch, because that is shared between 3 people, Ivar being 2 of them, Ivar would like to seek out Kenna in the sneaky way that he does of just silently next to a person.
And you guys are all within rough proximity, so it's not hard to do.
Excuse me? I didn't get your name from Morderheim. He says behind Kenna.
I mean, Kyle might be muted.
I
had to grab my phone. Sorry. Go again, music. My apologies.
He'll just sneak up next to you.
Okay, sneaky. That's what I missed.
Yeah. Did you hear the rest of what he asked you?
Mm-mm.
Okay. He'll excuse me, I didn't get your name from Morderheim. I will probably be traveling with your group, so I'd like to get to know everyone a little bit better.
Kenna's just like got this inquisitive eyebrow raise that you can't see behind the mask. And
He's
my
also
name is Kenna.
too.
Yeah, these are two masked individuals coming across each other in the wild. My name is Kenna. And you're leaving your own people?
Well, they aren't exactly people. I was traveling with them mostly as a alliance of what's the word? I literally had it on the tip of my tongue and it's just gone. Okay, it's in character. Thank you. Alliance of convenience.
You said they're not people. Did you mean they're not your people, or are they really not people?
No, they're not my people specifically. They are very nice, but and maybe in another life I would travel with them more. But
Okay, that makes more sense. You confused me for. I was gonna say, because if they're not people, we might have a. Now I understand. And so you travel with us for what reason?
well, to help Lars.
Does that send a red flag to Kenna that?
You can always make an insight check.
I'm gonna make an insight check, but it doesn't really matter what I roll in my head. So I rolled a 14 plus insight.
He's already made the insight check in real life.
Which I think is a 16.
What did you roll?
14.
So it's an 18.
Yeah, it's based off
Oh,
of wisdom.
I thought insight was not wisdom.
It is wisdom.
I suck at that. 18. Well, so Kenna is curious. You can see the posture in her lips and her head, with her shoulder. And takes the mask off of her face and will kind of straighten up sternly and look straight at you, staring into your eyes. So you know him by both names, which either means you're here for his past or you are looking for him, or both.
I mean,
did that come through? Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He just. I mean, one leads to another. I knew him. Know him? The tenses are weird.
kind of doing quick math in her head real quick, as if those things that could happen.
It
Okay. Kind of like relaxes a little bit. So I'm gonna ask you one question. Do you plan on hurting him at any point?
no. Why would I? Sort of seems at the opposite of my objective.
So you plan to help him regain his name and his family?
Yes.
Perfect. Good. That means we don't have to fight.
Blink, blink, blink. Good. um.
Well, welcome, Ivar. I don't know what talents you have, but I'm sure I'll find out when we have to use them in whatever unfortunate circumstance we find ourselves in. Because I'm going to tell you something about this group of people. We always seem to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. So prepare yourself, because that means you're going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, most likely.
I have a feeling I'm actually rather used to it. I'm not sure about that. But I'm fine. I am more than capable.
I would hope so. You were traveling with this group of people, and I've been led to believe that you were the one to heal those. So, it takes, what is the expression they use in cities? The weight off my shoulders?
Oh, are you this Lars's troops healer?
Well, I know how to heal, and I know ways of medicine. I would prefer to use them more than my other skills. It just so happens to be not my most useful strength.
What? He sort of perks up when you say medicine. It's like, what kind of medicine? Like,
I don't know how much experience Kenna has with other medicine types besides like natural remedies in medicine. Dyer, do you have any insight on that one?
I mean, that would sort of be Kenna's repertoire, given where she comes from.
Yeah. I don't really think. So when you ask that, Ivar kind of goes, which type? It's. See, in Kenna's mind, that's the only type. That's the only way. Because we use the plants and oils and foods and animals, medicine to heal wounds and broken bones and whatever ails the inside of someone.
interesting. From what I have been able to do, I guess I'm not far off, but not exactly the same style. It's a little bit hard to remember exactly where I learned skills, but they tend to be more based off things in cities and large villages. So maybe not like herbal medicine, but like manufactured goods wherever they can be applied. Although I guess it's rather hard to find some of those sometimes.
I see. Well, I'm sure you will come to be very useful. We should stay vigilant. We've had a few watches where certain people have gotten past.
Well, so far I haven't let these people down. I've been rather vigilant. I tend to take a role as such. So,
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. She kind of like puts her mask, like settles, because it had been off that whole time. Well, if there's two things you need to know, as you saw, one, I like to get into fights, and two, if you need something burnt, just ask.
blink, blink, blink. Okay. Not many things usually need burning. I mean, I guess cauterization, but
Kenan just speaks softly as they continue to walk in there, whatever, and goes, everything needs burning. Ivar, everything.
a step away, minutely.
Kenan has no idea that you're tied to the fire at Lars.
Okay. That. I guess. What? You seem to be insinuating it, but assuming the nature of your abilities is within fire, heat.
No, I'm just good at it. I don't know how much you know about tribes out in the wilds, but the nature of my abilities is I was going to be a keeper for my tribe. I just happen to have an affinity for fire over elements.
I don't know. How much does Ivar know? Probably not much, if any, at all.
Yeah, make a history check at disadvantage.
Yeah.
Other than just being kind of forgetful in your current state of being,
Yeah,
you just also had really no extended experience into the tribes out in the mountains. So yeah, nothing.
Okay.
People live out there.
Oh, you tribe keeper? I don't think that is within the realms of my lost memories, but I haven't heard very much of the people that live out there besides the people who live out there.
Well, it is a lot for one night to tell you. And I think you can start off by the role in a tribe that we call keepers, I believe others refer to them as druids. I've heard that name before.
Is that something that's more familiar to Ivar? Someone who keeps to the wild a lot, or is that not known?
Okay, let me simplify this a little. I mean, you know the term druid.
Okay.
It's common enough.
Okay. Oh. Okay. That. That I do understand. Okay. Interesting. I would never think. I would never think. People from the city would travel with one of your affiliation, especially to a city.
Yeah, you don't have to remind me, Ivar. That wholeheartedly. I'm not excited about it, but I have made a pledge to Lars that I will see everything into keeping him safe, protected, getting him to finish his objective. And I did make a promise to that. One, that if whoever burned down his home tried to use fire against him, I would prevent it.
The one that you lost, his name was Nikolai.
Yes, that is why I'm traveling with this group of people. He brought me down out of my mountain. And then he paid the price for it. And I am keeping my word that I made to him, as well as making sure that the others that traveled in him are kept safe. You have to excuse me, Ivar. I would like to be able to sit in silence for part of our watch. I have a lot to think about. Mainly, I gotta figure out how I'm going to help that group of mercenaries after I lost the wrestling match. I was so close. She was just so much better.
She is rather scary in combat. You really don't. It's rather terrifying to see her fight those creatures. I am amazed you did so well. But
Me too, honestly. Me too. And Kenan like stops walking, kind of like sits down on a big rock.
But sorry for interrupting. I will.
Oh, you didn't interrupt.
But I guess see you in a bit. You will just sort of rescend into the darkness.
Okay.
Yep, almost exactly that. Just
Okay. With that finished up, the long rest will be had. We have one last order of business before we take the first break, and probably the only break of today. I would like some D100 rolls.
We did that.
Did we? We did,
Yeah.
didn't we? Never
No one got
mind.
anything specific.
No one did. You're right. I have them back there. You know what? Scratch that. We're done. We're gonna take a break. Sorry, so much.
Dyer, if this is gonna be the only one, can we 10 to 15?
Sure. Let's see.
10 minutes
It's
is fine. That's
10
fine.
past. Yeah, like I said, let's aim to come back at 20 past. If you need the extra minute or two wiggle room, just take it. We'll just chit chat in the meantime. Besides, I won't be upset. I need to get lunch too. So.
Alright.
Okay.
What is your tweet?
Rest.
So we will be back. Yeah, don't forget to do your long rest stuff.
Very good conversations, guys.
Already did it. I will
sweet.
try and play down my celebrations in future.
No, it's okay. It's not
got a big-
disruptive in the least bit.
Great. My exhaustion's off. That's nice. I'm so happy. So happy.
God,
Okay.
so many
We're back.
Yeah.
Well, that reveal wasn't a surprising music, but I do want to share some stuff with you.
Yeah.
That was literally the first thing I devised on Edelweiss. What is gonna be my subclass? What would be my quote unquote magic heritage, whatever? Which is, technically a subclass, a sorcery subclass. Cause yeah, that. But I didn't take. I'm not sorcerer. But like, what was it? And it was it was ice. I
That's pretty
went I went around a lot of stuff. And I had trouble thinking about where I would have gotten it, so I asked Dyer, and he gave some suggestions, including like, oh, there's Wintercourt. I'm like, no, I don't want it to be like a Fae thing. I'm not like pulled into that. So he said Dead God, and I was like, Pog, I got some great ideas. Some of them he didn't use, some of them he did use, and he loved it, and it sold him on it, and that's where we went from there. I didn't even know who. It took me several weeks to know who Rixie's was. Several weeks, and I was like, okay, you remember when you told me you had the perfect arc fate for me? So can we talk about that now? Because we had been working on everything else, but not that. That was like one of the last things like we had devised, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna write this thing up for you. Here's everything, and I'm like, holy shit, my dad. But yeah, I started with the ice first, because it's obvious now. And then went to that. It's also why he gave me the Misty Escape. It's like a debuffed Misty Escape for early on, because in case I went for sorcery earlier. That did not happen. I don't know if I'm actually gonna branch into the class, although I would love any features. That would be tasty. But yeah, I just want to share that was like the first thing we made up.
That was pretty good.
It is what made him. I think it's what sold him on me using this character again. Me coming up with a bunch of random stuffs. I'm sitting waiting for my sister to get out of her hecking firehouse job back in the day. I sent this right before I think it was a Friday. So I think it was before conversions went off. And he's like, I love all of this. Some of it used, some of it not. And then later on, he told me who it was Fricks. Later, much later, which I already told you. But yeah, that was the first thing, and yeah, I hope to do some of that with Fricks if he says yes. If not, well, F in pieces. I mean, I assume so, but don't know. He might not like Faye. That's fair. They kind of like had a war. He was kind of in that, like all the other Tidebreathers were in that war.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about this the other day because we were told, oh yeah, some of the title bearers killed other title bearers for powers. So what if one of the twins isn't around? Hey, what if there's like a fratricide?
Yeah. What is the
other twin like
the other one?
Bonk,
Yeah.
Hey sis. Bonk.
Fuck.
That was like the bad. I think it was like the more evil one is there's like one that's like more good, one more like on the evil side, or one more neutral.
Or
I gotta look it up.
Big brain mode. What if the one that's no longer hidden killed the one that was very active and is just taking the place? So it seems like they disappeared, but they're really not.
You mean that they're pretending to be their sibling?
Yeah, they're pretending to be their sibling.
They're twins.
Yeah, I feel like they could pass it off.
Yeah, they can pass it off. They don't always show their true form when they're talking to people. Fuck that shit.
Anyway, I will be right back real fast.
I guess I'll be right back too. big. I say I don't think I'm gonna finish that sentence. Whoa. I actually had a prediction it would take 2 hours to actually get into combat. I was correct. Alright. That update's not up yet. I can't wait till it's up though.
Ooh, that's my nail.
So I see the Hargy and the owl ran off somewhere, probably for food.
Probably. Do normal game stuff. In the meantime. I have a decent mulligan. Oh.
I'm back.
Oh, we're back.
Come on.
I'm just imagining Ivar is just this like history check black hole where everything said will just be a history check.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Good. You can just history check off each other. Polish your history checks.
No, it's just, hey, if we ever start having bad rolls and we need to get through rolls, just start asking Ivar questions, like very pointed questions.
Yeah, I did not like my 2 natural ones.
Wow.
It feels like it fit. It fits the mood.
It was very cinematic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lars has been through a lot today. Trying to remember something kind of probably was too much for him.
Well, I mean, everything was kind of, heavy. It's not like anything you guys were talking about was like really fun or interesting to recall.
That's
Oh,
the
yes,
overall
so,
life being a history check.
How much do you remember of all of my dead family? Oh, yes, interesting, yes.
Yes. How the hell do you not remember any of it? Or only some of it? How? What?
I have this really awkward feeling that, like, if we see a Treya, Ivar's just gonna have is just gonna have like an almighty breakdown. I already have a wild theory that Treya might have stabbed you.
Oh, that would be great. It wouldn't. That'd be weird, but
Leaning into one of my theories about what's happened is to Atreya it was an inside job.
No.
No.
Sister, being a fret.
Yeah.
Get out of town.
I have like loads of different like I am literally like Lars would be like for planning. Like every action is explored. Everything is planned out. Everything is. Oh wait, we're on a break. Who's it to? Shoot! Oh, bugger! God damn it!
I bet that's thrown Lars's planning brain for a loop.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
How does it sound?
Very
Great.
good.
You sound better than before.
That's very unfortunate because y'all sound worse than before.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
That's unfortunate.
That is a weird transaction.
I had to run and buy wired headphones because my Bluetooth headphones were dead. That's why I was trying to go.
get something, and so y'all sound worse now, but the mic apparently sounds better, which is super unfortunate.
What's that meme? What's that meme where you give something but you also take? There's that new meme. Yeah.
But
You get good audio quality.
Oh,
you
yes.
get.
I propose a trade. That one. Yeah.
yeah,
Cheering up on my.
Right, I'll go back to Mike Muki. Muke? Mike
Muki?
Mike.
I don't know what that word is, but I hate it.
Might muking? No, Mike
It is
muting.
kind of awfully terrible.
Muking sounds like the verb for
God,
when you muke
the more you
something.
say it, the worse it is.
Right? It sounds like puking and milking.
Oh, God, that's worse than what I thought. Oh, Jesus.
Have you
Yeah.
ever milked a puker?
Oh, no.
I like to think that's what that creature is in Star Wars that Luke was milking.
Oh, God, no.
Mm.
The blue milk was already bad.
Mhm.
A mulker.
Okay, I can deal with a mulker. A mulker sounds like an actual Star Wars creature that doesn't sound that bad.
But mulking.
That, nah.
Yeah, mulking does not sound right. Sounds like a really weird Pokemon.
Oh my God, it does. Mulking. Yeah, it really does. Yeah, it's mulking's okay. It's muking that's a problem.
Yeah. Muking.
Oh, look, Al's back.
Save us.
Please.
Save us from the mulking.
Just save us in general, please.
That bought us enough time for me to finish eating my lunch, so I'm thankful for that.
Words are hard.
So, just to verify, everyone present?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Swell.
Owl is typing.
I was typing.
Oh my
I'm
God.
here.
That's an
That's
ocean.
so fun. I would love to go to a beach.
It's weird.
It's fucking cold.
We're seeing the same ocean now.
It's not cold. It feels great.
It's cold.
Wow. All right. So we're just gonna pick back up where we left off, which was everyone finally nestling in for a night's rest. So do your long rest things if you haven't already. You should have.
Oh, question.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Dyer. As we've said, Ivar has fought these creatures before. When they explode, is it poison damage?
It's poison and acid.
Okay.
Gross.
Thank you. I'm choosing spells.
Yeah, actually, here. Let me re-clarify. I'm pretty sure it's poison and acid. I don't have that blocked up in currently, but it will take me just a second to get there. Where are you?
Where are you?
They deal. Yeah, I was correct. Acid and poison.
Okay. The weird half. Level.
Well, it's because the contents of their stomach is acidic, and then the stuff in their veins is poisonous. So you're getting showered in all of their bits and bobs. So you just kind of have to deal with it.
Fun.
Yep.
Wisdom mod.
While he's preparing spells, the following day has arrived. Granted, due to everyone's relatively early bedtimes, which was accepted also, the White Cross Company likewise turned in relatively early. The 8-hour rest comes to completion at 4 a.m. Bright and well, not bright. Oh, dim and early. It's currently a -1 degree Celsius. There is a fine shower of snow just drifting down. Everything has been coated once more. It is not heavy enough that it will impede your it will not impede your travel, but it does impair your vision some. You can all easily see as the White Cross Company begins their morning routine, checking up on the civilians, building and restarting a fire, and they begin preparing breakfast, which is cooked over top of it, hanging from this cast iron pot that one of them was carrying. And just like before, you watch as a pair switch out for watch with the last watch of the night.
I just want to say Gwen gets up a little. She goes to start. This was off on her own.
I didn't get any of that.
Speak up, speak a little louder, my friend.
Sorry, I forgot how wired headphones work. I just said that Gwen gets up a little bit early and she goes to start doing some practicals.
All right, I'm getting a little bit more. I got Gwen gets up a little bit early and then...
And goes to do practice drills off on her own.
Gotcha, thank you. Yeah, it was literally like, it was just like getting the enunciation of the first letter of every word. And so I had no idea what you were saying. Okay. Gwen is up early and practicing some drills.
Ivar, who doesn't really sleep, would like to follow Gwen if she wants, or if she allows, as he would like to see her fighting style.
Ivar's a stealthy boy, right?
Ivar is a decent stealthy boy, yes.
She probably doesn't notice him.
Okay.
Roll a stealth check, Ivar. Gwen is actually pretty perceptive.
Pretty passively perceptive, yeah. Yeah, that's a very neutral roll.
No, Gwen, you notice him. He's being creepy and like watching you from like 30 feet away, from partially covered by a tree. But
he's not trying to be creepy.
he's not that hard for you to notice. He makes noise. You can hear him shifting in his spot.
Okay. I'm just going to just drill on my own then. I'm not going to pay him any mind.
Okay.
And it's a lot of stopping and starting. It's a lot of doing a maneuver, stopping it halfway because she realized she messed it up, and then taking it from the top. It's a lot of that over and over again. On like several, not basic drills, but sort of like basic drills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Get the good muscle memory in.
Nothing wrong with basics.
Yeah. Okay. After a bit, he'll sort of pipe up. From your technique and the armaments that you carry, you seem to be a frontliner of sorts. One takes the brunt of damage.
I try.
I will probably be traveling with your group. I tend to be a frontliner myself, although not as proficient in melee combat as you seem to be. I'm more of the magical sort.
Okay.
I was just, for morning spells and things like that, is there anything that you might benefit from. That
I'm sorry,
can
what was
aid you
it? What was that first part?
for morning spells. He's asking you if you want him to prepare anything. I tend to prepare protection spells, so and
That's
if I'm in frontline combat with you.
It's about what you need. Something that will protect, something that might punch. I can only assume we're going to be running into more of these critters that we run off. So, anything that you might have gleaned to be useful against them in your own travels.
Yes, specifically I've readied a protection from poison spell that, if you will be frontlining, I feel like you might find particularly useful. Protect you against their explosive tendencies.
Yeah, I can see that coming in handy. It's a good call. But
if you want a sparring buddy, I am open, but otherwise I will leave you alone, as I think you wanted to do this by yourself.
I'm not opposed. You travel with the White Cross, and they're a decent set of mercenaries, so anybody that they pick up along the way is probably a decent enough fighter, so I'd be interested to see what you could do.
Okay. Well, yeah. He'll spar with you then. You see he pulls out a warhammer and a shield. Yeah, and then while sparring with him, you see he is proficient in melee combat, and tends to hold his own, although he tends to take a rather defensive stance in most combat. Very much a defend and then watch for openings to exploit. Not an aggressive sort.
It's interesting. Gwen definitely starts out aggressive, but you can see she's sort of wrestling with herself, trying to keep from throwing herself headlong into it and trying to find more tactical points to go after rather than just throwing herself at you until something breaks. So, that, and she's trying to not find her balance, but master her balance. That's what you get from that.
Fair. He's a little bit clunky, but a lot of the muscle memory is still there. It's more he does it but doesn't know why he's doing it. It tends to show. But and that, like, as he said, he's good at the defense, but using a weapon, not specifically. He is very much more of the magical frontline kind.
Alright. We should try to give him some pointers. Just simple things, footwork, pay attention to this, and this. Just keep it in your mind while you're working. But other than that, she's not really a teacher so much as she's learned a few things, and she's happy to share them that work for her.
He would thank her for sparring with him.
All right.
But other than that, nothing else from me.
Yeah, that's probably just about like an hour and a half of that, and then she'll put everything down and go find breakfast and get ready for the day.
All right. Well, as aforementioned, the White Crest Company, they function on a routine. A breakfast that is a rice porridge that has a bunch of vegetables and some dried meat and some fried eggs mixed into it is prepared and passed out between all of those that have been with the camp. You watch as half the squad spends the better part of their morning helping reload the wagons as efficiently as possible for the merchants and getting them ready to go on their way.
Lars, he would be looking a bit better today. He actually slept all right. I rolled for that. If it rolled well, he'd had a good sleep. If not, he didn't. Rolled an 18. He would like, you know how like someone like assists doing something in the background just to try to like as like a way of conversing with someone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if Raka is there, he'll, as he's like helping them, like he's like watching what they do, hearing what they say, and then like he'll help out without even like being told to or not to. He'll help. But while he's doing the job, if while I'm hoping that Ivar is away, Lars would say, "You're Raka, correct? The leader of this White Cross group?"
No, not the leader. Corporal, second in command. Sergeant over there leads us.
Okay.
But I'm the technical expert and take I take a lot of free action, but that's because the sergeant gives me a lot of. Yeah, he's giving me a loose leash, if you will.
Yeah. I was trying to think of something weird to say, but I don't. No, he'll say, I'm curious about Ivar.
Right.
I just want to know how you happened upon him. That is all.
I mean, it's a pretty simple story. She says as she's passing off a crate to Lee. Our company went to Stenholm. We received some reports that there was a bunch of activity going on in the duchy. So the company arrived. We split up into our respective squads. Ivar said he was heading in the same direction as we were. Was a competent healer with magic, and seemed trustworthy enough. So we offered him some payment to travel with us for the time being, until we reached where our destination was, which was what apparently is the remains of Dyryak.
Indeed. It's just I'm just curious because he could say an outside figure to the normal hustle and bustle of your group. That is all. I got a keen eye for that sort of thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's not a member, obviously, and he's got some eccentricities. He's a little overly quiet, and he likes to wander off by himself in the middle of the night. I don't think he sleeps. I mean, yeah, he's kind of kooky in that way, but he's been reliable, if nothing else. We've never had to doubt him whenever we've gotten into any of the scuffles with those creatures on the way here.
Good. I'm sure he'll want to talk to you sooner rather than later about something, but
Ominous, okay.
Nah, just I might need his help in something.
Change of employment then.
You could say that.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to compensate you.
Well, no, don't worry. If anything, we're paying him, so it's fine. Don't worry about it.
No problem. I myself am from have had militaristic training and understand the importance of units and camaraderie and togetherness and.
I figured as much based off of the old army garb you've been sporting around.
Ah, yes. It was my father's.
Yeah, that checks out. I haven't seen a jacket like that since my pops came out of the military.
Yeah, I know it kind of stands out now, but it's more sentimental now than anything else. But yeah, the attires that I wear True, very true. But it's nice to know that the warriors of Belwind are as strong as I remember.
Mm-hmm. Well, I really can't speak for anyone else anymore, but we certainly know how to have a good scuffle.
I do too, but my expertise is not in the middle of combat, unfortunately.
And what is your expertise exactly? Everyone else, it's pretty obvious. You've got the Goliath woman with the big axe. Honestly, the standoffish one, I have no read on that whatsoever. Ivar's, he's got some magic and can heal and knows how to wield a weapon and a shield. Gwen is pretty obvious, decked out in armor, shield, sword, pretty straightforward. You, however, I don't know what your whole thing is.
He'll like as he places like a box onto somewhere. He'll just go. I'm pretty sure you've seen me hunk around that decorated box.
Artemis.
Yeah,
You,
it is what is in.
You cling to it.
Yeah, it is what is inside that is my main strength. It is a weapon.
Mm-hmm. Judging by its length, it's probably a firearm of some type, isn't it?
Yes, that is correct. It is a firearm, but of non-magical origin.
Well, I haven't seen too many wandering around these parts, but enough. There's a bit of an expo going on in further north, all the way up in the gnomish homeland. The renaissance, if you will, of firearms that are starting to be wheeled out. Most are very comical. They usually backfire. It's been very funny to watch, but a couple of them are getting it right.
I can guarantee you that the firearm I have is not only reliable, but accurate, machined, and can hit anything as far as I can see, essentially.
I believe it based off how long the case is. Must be a long barrel.
Yeah, it's unfortunately I have run out of provisions to use it. I have the shot, but not the ammo.
And that is the reason why I don't like firearms. That's why I've stuck to a reliable, but still modern crossbow. And she'll take the sling off of her shoulder and bring her crossbow around. You've seen it. Racker is covered from head to toe in odd bits and bobs, which includes a bandolier of crossbow bolts that have multiple different types of head variations on them. But when she takes the crossbow around, it's got the standard body of a heavy crossbow, but it does not. It has a very unusual worked, multi-tiered band at the front, and there are two spools of wire worked onto either side. And you watch as she places the butt of the crossbow against her knee, and then, much to her name, she pulls back a lever on the side and racks the crossbow, and you watch as the wire spools spin and pull the arms all the way flat against it. And she can load it. She loads a quarrel into it. We'll shoulder it, and then we'll just sort of point to a tree about 100 meters off in the distance and just fire it. It just lets out this loud whistling sound as it just pierces through the silence of the morning. Don't have to worry about anything extra when I can just shoot one of these.
I totally agree with you, but my way of working is one shot, one kill. And I can guarantee on most things that a rifle is one shot, one kill, rather than making someone into a new pincushion.
Well, then maybe one day we'll be able to compare. 'Cause I think the Whistler here might be able to stand up to match whatever you've got hiding in that case.
If only I had some more gunpowder. I'm sure you don't have any adamantite on you at all.
No, not in any large sums. Absolutely not.
Well, in that case, we'll have to wait and see. But no, thank you for the being accommodating and being very hospitable. It's been a good it's been good for our group. We've needed that after losing a friend.
I mean, you all look like a pretty rough group. And she has a moment where she kind of teeters off partway through the sentence, and she's looking at you now. And before, you guys have been working, moving crates, helping restock this wagon appropriately. And then she, like, passes off another crate to Lee, and her eyes have been on you the whole time. And then she sort of stops and slows down, and you see her head cocked to the side a little. Wait. You were von Bismarck? Between the gun and the adamantite comment, the only family I really know that worked in those sorts of circles. They're the only people I knew who know how to work that residue from the processing.
Lars just like stands stoically, and he'll like if he can cheat, like he wants to cheekily like just put a finger to his lips, and he'll unfurl his trench coat, and he'll have the crest of the von Bismarcks.
That makes a lot more sense.
But you can see like he's still got the finger on his lips.
Who are you worried about overhearing?
I'm pretty sure you know the reason.
Well, yeah, you're all supposed to be dead.
I'm not.
Clearly.
Let's just say I might be the last von Bismarck.
Nope,
And I
not in the least bit. Not what I heard when I was in Harbor last, at least.
I know of one other that might be alive, but I don't know any more than that. I would like to know if you know any kind of... It's like a visible gulp. Like, if you knew any more of the Bismarcks out there, I would gladly would like to know.
Well, when I was in Harbor about a month ago, there was a bunch of hubbub going around in the circles that I regularly flow through. Because, Whistler is a creation of mine. All these little gadgets you see are my doing. So people in those circles like to talk. Now, it's been a while since the von Bismarck name has passed any other lips because of, the incident that happened 5 years ago. But recently, there has been a von Bismarck couple that has come back claiming all of the land and resources that was left behind. The new Lord von Bismarck that I've heard of goes by the name of Miles. His wife is, Atreya, I think it is.
A nod.
But word was they were looking for competent metal workers, and engineers trying to put together the family business again.
Lars will quickly ruffle his hair a bit, like scratch all over, kind of like in a bit of like a very startled way, and he will look Raka square in the face and go, "My name is Lars von Bismarck. I was the child of Frederick."
Well, then you've missed the reunion.
Yeah, to hear that Atreya has he married?
I'd assume so. Definitely seemed like a couple. Using the same last name, so it's the only logical conclusion most of the grapevine could come with. Given there wasn't a sibling by the name of Miles that I know of.
There wasn't. That's not as far as I'm aware, unless it is a. He sort of gets really confused, but then he goes, Atreya was Schattenbroker. She wasn't. She wouldn't have really taken the name. She never really liked the name of von Bismarck. So I wonder why she's done that now.
Well, you couldn't really go take von Bismarck real estate without the name, could you?
Indeed. I am. And he's coming across like really flustered and like a lot to take in. Like he's having heard of, and he'll quickly go like, did you know that Ivar was part of the estate as well? Did he ever say anything about that?
No, I didn't know that at all.
Weird.
Yeah, you're
Completely
telling me.
weird.
Which
Well,
definitely means he was out here looking for you, doesn't it?
indeed.
So you should definitely be worried about him stabbing you in the back more than this group of merchants or any of us.
I can tell you for 5 years I've not trusted a lot of people along my travels, but I definitely trust these people, my group. But no, thank you. That is knowledge I have been seeking for a very long time. Have you not heard anything from Frederick? You've not heard anything from Sabine? Gerald Magzalim?
No, nothing really.
Perhaps maybe Eric Rudegum. He's well known for being a good weapons maker and jeweler.
Well, I know the name, but I haven't heard anything. Nothing new that's cropped up. Yeah, Eric was well respected in the engineering circles in Harbor, but
he was
I haven't heard anything in years.
He was under the employment of my fathers. They were making the guns for Bellwind.
Well, that makes sense.
These guns were going to be widely. Well, not mine, because mine is a prototype, but we were working on consumer weapons that would be made readily available for the Bellwind army to protect it, essentially. We wanted to make sure that we could protect ourselves with the best technology.
Well, sadly, nothing on Eric's end. If I could give you a little piece of advice from concerned citizen to concerned citizen. If you begin pursuing going back to, the family estate, if you will, something tells me if they're gunning, unintended, to try to get the business back up and running, I feel like there's probably going to be a little bit of bad blood between you and Miles.
Why is he trying to sell off the guns to the highest bidder? What's his ploy? What's his play?
Well, that I don't know. All I know is that there was a call out for engineers and metal workers before I ended up leaving for Harbor. Trying to really push forward the the production of their project very early on. Trying to cut out a lot of time by having a lot of work. Just that if you've worked in these circles long enough, there are only a couple of places around the world that have really successfully done firearms well. And if this stranger has arrived and is in fact married to your sister and has taken up the name, there's a decent chance he's coming from a place that's already done firearms pretty well. None of those places are going to be good. Just a fair one. Might be a shoot first, ask questions later kind of situation.
As much as that is a desperately good tactic, I need to understand more than just why this person has arrived. I need to understand who is responsible for the past. If it's linked to him, then he cannot live. For the future of Belwind and Harbor, he cannot. For what he did, the technology of weapons has been delayed to give us a tactical advantage, and that is something that will not stand for me.
Well, my last comment for this entire thing is figure out your priority. Mordeheim. I will tell you, Harbor is a no great threat for having been put behind in the firearms race. The council's made up of a bunch of people that are all very powerful and insightful, and the army is well equipped, and magic still does a great deal that we, with the more technical sense of engineering, will never be able to achieve. So I think we're fine. Just make sure you know what you're doing and for what reasons. Don't try to project it onto a grander, greater scheme than is necessary. If you're killing someone for the sake of vengeance, just make it that, nothing else. At least that's my 2 cents.
He'll pick up another box and just start helping remaining, and we'll just, as he picks it up, he'll just stand there and just go, thank you, Rucker. You've, it seems ever since I joined this group, I'm bumping into more people that know what's going on more than I do.
This helps to know the right people and where to listen. All right, Lee, let's tie this stuff down. And that's that.
Lars will just help out as much as he can. Heck.
The merchants are finished and tied off, and everything is back in order. White Cross breakfast is finished, and they are cleaning up and clearing the campsite. And you watch as they begin putting their packs back together. And everyone is getting to the point of ready and mobile to get moving once again. Is there any preparation any of you would like to do prior to departing from the White Cross Company?
Yeah, the talking with the sergeant, the preparing to split ways. Who was the one that I talked to mainly? To travel with them, because I would go to them.
You spoke to the sergeant.
The sergeant? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, then he would do as such. Go to the sergeant. And
Ivar.
I believe I will be separating from the group at this moment. I've made sure that the wounded were taken care of. As a future note, they physically they seem only just scratches and bruises. They are mentally shaken, reasonable.
As to be expected.
And that which I cannot take care of right now. That take some time. But yes, I do think I'm going to split off travel with this group we've come across.
Word got back to me. I've prepared your payment, in which case, for the time you've spent with us and for the creatures you've helped us kill and the portals we've closed. And he will reach out and hand you 10 platinum pieces.
Ooh. Thank you.
Thank you. Those fights wouldn't have been as swimmingly easy without your presence, so we have acknowledged the help you've given us, and we appreciate it. You have a friend in the White Crosses from here forward.
And thank you. And if you ever find me again, I will happily give whatever aid I can. Hopefully our paths do cross again. And if I finish everything I need to and still feel like traveling, I wouldn't mind seeking the group out again and traveling with you as an official member.
White Cross is always hiring. You definitely meet at least the experience needed to sign on, so by all means, if you find yourself too bored with life, come find us.
Yes. Thank you for your time.
Alright. Well, safe travels. Hopefully, whatever you're looking for, you find out there, kid.
And safe travels to you.
And he'll give you a good firm handshake.
Yep, he will. Word failed. Wow, brain just turned off. He will reciprocate the firm handshake. There we go. That works. Go ahead, find the party.
Mm-hmm. Sergeant's gonna turn around towards where the rest of the group is sort of getting ready. Alright, Sparrow Squad. Alright, let's get moving. We got little daylight and lots of ground to cover. And you watch as they all begin gathering together.
We'll gather up while they're getting ready to leave real quick. And approach the group as a whole. About our deal, I have a few things that could probably help y'all just in different ways. And then Dyer, just so you can choose which one they get. She is going to offer water walk to the whole party.
Mm-hmm.
Or she's going to offer, if it's useful, to cast flame arrows on a quiver or bolt sheath for them, which is up to an hour.
They will graciously accept the water walk.
Okay.
Lars towards the White Cross. He'll just regard them all, and he'll say, "Good luck in your adventures, and may the spirit of Belwind go with you." And he'll put a hand to his heart over his crest, and he'll do a militaristic bow and he'll say, "Immersusumen. Good luck, guys and girls," and he will leave.
Okay. Then you will part ways from the White Cross Company.
And they have an easier time to cross snow.
They do. And hopefully all of you will follow in each other's wakes, not having to deal with any additional threats or entities along the way.
Only one could hope.
Only one could hope.
But there's this nifty little map that says
Well, plain icon says otherwise.
What do you mean?
That's
I think it'll be a very peaceful day, guys.
So what you're telling me is we just skip right on next to the long rest, huh? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Yep.
And just so you do know, Dyer, when I had given them the offers, I casted it immediately, not ritually.
Okay.
Yeah. I made a bet, and it was if I win, I got something. If I lose, I lost a 3rd level spell slot. That's what it was.
Which is real funny because you do it and you watch some of them and they kind of just like, because they're crunching through the snow and then suddenly some of them are floating above it. They're like losing their balance, kind of like watching for the first time someone trying to learn how to ice skate.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Kenna just casts it and looks at Lee and goes, "Nah, you can do even better."
Mm-hmm. You get a big shark tooth smile.
Wait, am I the only one who doesn't know Ivar's coming? Or I forgot if Kenna knew or not.
I think Kenna has enough of an idea. I think Edelweiss is the only oddball out in that scenario.
Rip.
Yeah. You just have this random
We
Ivar.
just got to get together and it's like, I mean, it will be like...
Well,
wait,
I think it's
you
funny
coming
because it's
with
just
us?
like you're watching White Cross leave, and Ivar is standing with you guys, and
No,
Ivar is
I can't
waving.
see Ivar. He's sneaking around.
No, he's in entirely black clothing. Actually, it's sort of dusk. So
Your passive
he's sort
perception
of
does not see Ivar. Until he's like 5 minutes, we start talking 5 minutes, and it's like, wait a sec, huh?
Wait, who is this guy?
We just hi.
You all see him too? Yeah, you will eventually part ways and begin following in the wake of where the White Cross Company came from.
Which at that point, Edelweiss will first like, is about to gather their group, and then sees Ivar. It's like, you're coming with us?
Yes.
Any reason?
To help Lars. Mortarheim. Sorry.
The worst.
A glare from Lars, like from behind someone's shoulder, like.
An assassin jumps out from behind a tree.
They're showing around.
I'm
they're dead.
assuming you trust him then?
With what he has told me, he was there when it happened. So he was there when the estate was burned down, and we've talked, and I trust him. I trust him greatly. I know his face from before the fire. He worked for my family, so
See,
it's amazing we bumped into him. Although his memory is very foggy.
I'm already distracted from seeing this ad. I will talk about it later. But very well. All right. Edelweiss has their book and their arms kind of wrapping around, hold tight. I've thought about it for a while, and I'll tell you everything I know. I think that'll be best. I'm kind of mainly looking at Gwen specifically, because Gwen is the one who's most sus about me. I'd ask you to listen
And
first.
Gwen is looking right back.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I'll tell you why I'm here first. I'll also tell you everything else, but I do ask, let me finish speaking when I do tell you everything else, because it's not bad. But those who don't know much might think it is. And most, if not all of you, I don't know how much you know, are unfamiliar, so there's that. They're gonna step back a bit. Alright. It won't make much sense until I explain, but I do really want to help Fricks at least find whatever. I'm not sure if finding a home would be something possible, but I do want to see that he is alright, considering all. I understand that you Fricks think you'll be safe, and perhaps you will. I don't know. Power is beyond us, much stronger. Many ties. There are many interests, and I don't know. It's not like I can know for sure what'll happen to you at the end, but we'll see what it takes us when we get to sent home. I also had that question I had to ask, but I think it's better if I tell you everything before I ask. I don't know, it might change your decision on the matter, and it feels dishonest if I don't. As for the being I work for, I am an agent for the Archon. The Archon of Summer Court. Okay, no one knows too much about him. Besides, everyone doesn't like them at these planes, which is fair given the history. I will tell you, I guess, a couple things that the Archon is most known for. Not all of them, but one, he is an extremely talented artist, and I do get some of my talents from him. Not too much. I've had many tutors. That is besides the point. Second, which has gained some notoriety among the Fae, he has, I suppose, he likes to offer those without a home a place to stay from this plane. A lot of Fae don't like that. I think some of the court might not be too fond either. Those without a home, those whose home is terrible, especially children. They could be alone on the streets, or perhaps slaves, perhaps run away, trying to find a better life, but his agents he offers them a place to stay. Of course, that'd be me as well. He doesn't quite hate the people of this plane, as you might expect. Not the most fond of title bearers, but you know. So he offers them a home, a place to stay that's safe. Summer Court in general is not the safest sometimes, but a place that I call home is safe. I can assure that. I've been living there for so long. A place where there might be others that love them. Why I'm saying this is, well, obviously you can assume that he wants to offer Fricks a place to stay. Whether he wants to stay is up to him when that time comes, if that time comes. But back when we were at the fort, when Kalina told us about her home, I had asked him, this will be important, I promise. I had said he should offer her a place. She denied it, and she quite didn't like the Fae. It made me sad. Not too much in the fact that she didn't want to find somewhere safe to stay. She might have found... I know she would have been safe, and I know there would have been great people there, but perhaps she wouldn't have been happiest. It's that... After that, I was hoping to see to it that... Well, we had to leave soon, but I want to make sure she was okay, and that didn't happen. I don't want the same to happen to Frex, so... Regardless, I'd like to make sure he's safe. Another thing, if you have any doubts about, the Archon's, possible ulterior motives, was, air quotes. Rixus, he believes that everyone should have a choice to be happy. And he wants to help people with that. Therefore, if him forcing Fricks to come would make him unhappy, that would go against everything. I'm not the closest with, not that good with making people, maybe helping people that much, at least extending it to this much, but I'd like to see that Fricks ends up happy. Or has a chance to be so. I don't want to repeat of Kalina. I want him to be okay. I want them to be okay. I don't know how much I can do, but I think, well, you guys all want to do good. You all want to keep them safe. So, yeah. You might go ask questions. I imagine you're extremely suspicious now, but...
I would say you lied to us.
Indeed. You wouldn't believe me if I am part of an agent of the Fae, therefore I didn't want to say anything.
We let it, so you want to protect him?
To some degree, yes.
You want to extend him an offer to join Master in wherever the hell it is he thinks.
That's not my place to make the offer. I don't think they would agree. So, my first stance.
What does everybody else think? I say we put this up to a vote.
You think that makes you suspicious, Edelweiss, but I may be the wrong person to talk out of this group about this. Because I could care less who you look to. The fact that you told us is what makes you not suspicious. I would say keeping secrets is what makes people not trust you. Not telling them the truth. As long as we know what you're here for. And I have a way to trust you. I don't care.
Lars?
Lars will put a hand on his heart and regard Edelweiss and say, "To me, it sounds like your goals are true, and of sound mind. It is a noble goal, and thank you for telling us. It's sometimes hard to open up to something when you've kept it a secret for so long. That is something I can relate to."
So how do you feel about all this?
Who was that at?
I said, Trix, what do you think about all this?
He stops, turns his head and regards you, Gwen. I'm still not sure what it is we are supposed to be voting on. Or why we are voting in the first place.
No, we cleared the air. We're good to continue.
I did miss some of that.
Yeah, like after that. You said.
Now that we've cleared the air, are we good to continue?
I did have the thing I want to ask you, Frix. Or
Go ahead and ask.
when you first came to us, I obviously wasn't having a very pleasant time, but it is only because I realized that I believe I have inherited? I'm not sure if that's the word. Didn't know anyone of my family was like that. I think I have a portion of your powers.
I have not
But
seen any such powers.
They are currently sealed. It's been a while. I can't control them. The Archon gave me that seal. I was unconscious. It was rather dangerous. It nearly killed me. The seal will break if I am able to face it or if I need it. If any, I only ask that you may maybe not exactly help, but if you know anything about this, what I might have inside, then I would like any knowledge that might help me. This, you don't have to tell me any reason if you decline to do so. I will eventually figure things out, but
Given
as good as
my
time as any.
lack of understanding as to the specifics of the powers that are alleged to be sealed away, I cannot offer any insight or advice in terms of controlling it, since I cannot witness its strength or power.
I could describe it to you if you'd like. Now or later. What I remember, at least. I didn't have much. Never came up too much.
I do believe us to have a long walk ahead of us. I do suspect you could tell me as we go.
Well then. It'll be an annoying trip down to Vampire Lane, but I will do so. I must, after all. At least I feel as I should. So I would.
And also, the sentiment about you wishing to find me a safe home is appreciated. If you survive long enough to help me, I would appreciate it.
And they nod.
It finally seems like we're all going on the same page. Sorry, that it's just literally just what Lars is saying. Just in between what has been said.
I don't have anything else much to say, but I do assure you the Archon is a good being. Maybe not wholly and purely, but they mean good. They've helped me. They've helped many, many others that, might have never had a good life. Never had life. Maybe I may not be here anymore. I regard him as a father, actually. I've had 2 other fathers, so I think I know what a father is like. But I know I can trust them. I may not know everything, but I don't think they would do bad. We'll see what they say later on, whenever I talk to them, because I don't know if they will particularly be happy about this decision. But as long as it's fine, then it'll be fine. They're not the one who found me or anything. So I know I'll be fine. But we'll see to it eventually. My power is yours. I suppose we can get a move on, and I'll start recounting things. The real question is, do you want me to roleplay that?
No, I know all the information.
Then I'd love to hear what Frix has to say.
You guys can turn and begin your walk further south. I think Thrix just kind of like moves up next to Edelweiss as you guys begin walking, and he goes, "So first, what is an Archon? And second, what is a father?"
The Primordials. I'm sure you fought against them in the past. Explain.
No, I did not participate in the war.
Oh. Well, that's what they were fighting against, and after the Primordials fell, the plane the Primordials were overseeing they went haywire, so some of the strongest now Fae took upon to channel the magic, and now there are the 4 Archon. Obviously title bearers, and I'm not sure, were you more of a neutral party? Or did you just not participate?
I think not participating would in fact make me a neutral party.
Yes, but you could have favored one or the other.
I did not.
Huh.
I had my role on Rion and did not pursue any side in the war.
That's curious. Considering that Selena elves, were born in your plane, and they are kind of spit upon what the Primordials believe elves and should look like. It automatically goes against them.
The Lena are unusual in that they were spawned on Rion, not as much as one would expect to be created in a traditional sense.
I don't think they'd be quite fond. They're quite fond of either. Rion, you say? Is that what the home was?
It is the name of the moon.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, Lena's like the name we know of, right?
Lena's an association with it.
Okay.
Lena is more specifically referred to the elves of the moon.
Interesting. That confused me because I didn't realize. I thought, am I misreading things or misremembering things? Okay.
If you check the calendar, you would know the name of the moon.
I'm sorry, I've been looking up the Lena elves notes that we have and stuff. And
No,
the
I
other
mean,
notes
that,
that I've had.
no, that was more of just a challenge to anybody that didn't realize the name of the moon.
I saw the words Nina is the name of the moon or something. I could read off the doc right now.
It would be incorrect, and I would have to change.
I will have to look up if I'm remembering this correctly. I
But-
forgot what I was talking about.
That's neither here nor there.
We just told us it was our home rather than this plane. I didn't really get it myself, but... I'm sorry, I feel like this is a somewhat conversation and then we kind of peter off.
Yep.
I don't know how much... Yep.
No, yeah, it was never really meant to be in depth.
Good, good.
While Edelweiss is talking to Thrix, Lars would sort of congregate around Kenna, Gwen, and Ivar and the rest of them, and he'll say he'll just go. I've received more information from Rakar and Ivar about what we might be walking into, and I'd just like to share that with you all. So my sister has possibly married a guy called Miles, who might be from a different country or a rifle gun maker. Kind of suspicious of him because he might have instigated the whole scenario, maybe. But you can trust Ivar. He was there when the attack happened 5 years ago. His just memory's kind of a bit all over the place, but that is the information that I have been given from Rakar.
I will say, Lars, I already trust Ivar for the fact that he called you by your original name. He called you Mordechai, and then he called you Lars. I put one and one together, and looks to Ivar. But that also means you should probably be careful with who you say that name around.
As I am learning, it's a little bit surprising. Something to get used to.
But well, what I mean to say to you all is, this isn't just a clear cut. Atreya is in charge here. Miles might be the person we have to deal with.
It's like they both might be the person we have to deal with.
We need to gather more information. I think just going up blindly will lead us nowhere, and we'll just end up just having to go at it. And that is something I don't want to do, especially with Atreya.
There is something. Depending on what we learn along the way, if we get to harbor, near harbor, my condition would be beneficial. I don't know how friendly they would be with workers of the old family, but if I say no allegiance, I might be a way in. At least to finding out their operation. I'm not sure though. I am not familiar with Shreya or Miles, but who knows? Maybe in the time, some of the knowledge about working with the weaponry will come back, and that may be useful too.
I always appreciate the heads up, Lars. It's important to know, but going forward, once we get to a city, in my eyes, you're calling the shots. I will be out of my element, and I would not want to go about handling this the way that you want to handle it the wrong way.
Don't.
I will follow you, and I will do what you need me to do, but it is on your lead.
Indeed, Kenna. But don't worry. I've been thinking about plans that could use all our strengths. perhaps leading, trying to goad them out into the forest near where we live might play into your strengths and our strengths a lot better, but we can talk tactics later. First, we need to get to Stenholm, but I just thought I'd let you all know about such as the situation.
I appreciate the heads up, Lars. And Ivar, I appreciate the honesty.
See no point in lying. I feel like that is going to be anti-cause, which is ours. You know, it's weird.
Get used to that. It sticks around.
And before you guys cut anything, if you're done.
Go ahead.
Otherwise we'll kind of turn back. There's a little bit of tears in their eyes that they're kind of wiping off since pleasant stuff ain't talking about Frick. But I almost forgot. Before we move on forward, now that you guys trust me enough to let me travel, I should give you my name. I nearly forgot. My name is, I suppose more formal introduction. My name is Hollow. Ivarus the Bronze. Holly Ivarus, agent and child of the Archon. Rixus. It is a pleasure to meet you. Again. Pleasure to travel with you. Please do refer me as Hollow. Unless we're in a city and town, you can call me Edelweiss then. Nice to have confusing names. In case anyone untrustworthy is listening.
That is apparent what that one is doing it. Yes. Nice to meet you, Hollow.
It's been a year. Been a damn year.
Yeah. The road ahead is long, and I believe we should begin. Should we try?
And you travel.
Well, welcome to the group then.
And you travel. Several hours pass. The day's weather, not terrible, honestly. Again, a light snowfall. The visibility getting better as the day progresses, as it slowly begins to warm. You begin to see the first signs of encroaching sunlight off in the distance, still surrounded mostly in twilight. It's at this point that Gwyn and Push both notice something that smells absolutely terrible. Like rotting corpses.
What smells?
Same smell as the creatures? Or
Yep.
more? About how far away?
Not
Can I
far.
discern?
Make a perception check. See if we can get real specific.
Okie dokie. Is this an advantage?
Yep.
The smell? That was a 16.
Okay. Honestly,
Let me
not
do
that.
some math.
Not that far.
19
about
total.
200 feet.
Yep. I'm gonna hold everybody up, and I'm gonna hunker everybody down, and I'm gonna tell them what I smell. I'm gonna tell them how far out they are, and I'm gonna ask that we all hold for just a minute, because does it smell like they're moving? Or can I hear them moving?
Given a little bit of time, about a literal solid 60 seconds, you determine that they are not moving.
Okay.
And more notably, not making any sound. But you
Not making
smell
any
them
sound?
very plainly.
Yeah.
And I will be so polite as to remind you, the last time where they were burrowing themselves beneath the snow and rough layer of soil, you could not smell them this keenly. This smells like what they smell like when they're above ground on cover. But they're not making any noise at all. Something's amiss.
Did the White Cross Company travel this far already?
Puppy.
Yes.
Was there a fight here?
Make a history check. Participated in a lot of scraps, Ivar. The surroundings doesn't really look like anything special to you to trigger any particular memories. Could have been. Granted, the one thing, Ivar, you do remember is that any of the remains that were left outside were gathered and burned.
Okay. Most likely wouldn't leave the smell then.
Yeah, something more akin to this smell plus fire.
Yeah, he'd relay as much to the group.
Now, in the I guess they were never covering anywhere above ground that I would have been able to smell them in the last encounters that we've had with them, correct?
Correct.
Unless I would have been able to hear any sort of vague or, slight movements that they would have made while they were in the trees, while we were up on the hill. I'm trying to discern what I know about their, mannerisms while they hide, and if something's going on.
Right. Well, at this particular distance, with only the perception check for consideration, you really don't have anything to go off of right now.
Yeah.
In order for you to learn more, you'd have to close the distance by about half and make a survival check.
Okay.
Is it dim light right now?
Yes. As a matter of
I will
fact,
do that then.
It's almost completely darkness.
But it's dim light.
But it would be dim light.
I've already warned everyone of what I have smelled, and so I am going to try to stealth up a little bit closer. Anybody who wants to come is welcome to join me.
Wait. Why?
Kenna will.
I ask you. Why don't? If anything, why don't I be the bait this time? I can teleport out of there real quick, and if they attack me all at once and I get out of there, then all their positions might, they'll reveal themselves and you can get the jump, right?
It's not about
That could work, actually. If you think you're fast enough to get away without falling into harm's way, I would go ahead and do it.
Okay. But how far do you think they are? Because obviously, some of the powers I have, I have made a pact with Rexus.
So they're around 200 feet?
About 200 feet off, yep.
I can teleport. If I take a bit of, if I'm in danger, I can teleport real quickly and turn invisible as well. If it's farther danger, then I can use a spell to teleport even further away from danger. So all I'll have to do is be wary, and I think I'm getting surrounded, or, I can just get out of there.
Just pay attention. We'll be here to back you up if you need us.
Also,
wanna-
Ivar?
here, Griffon, you which direction are they?
South.
South.
Mm-hmm.
Can he see them?
There's too much tree cover.
Switch to cover. Okay.
Yeah, that's what this comes down to. There's just the forest that you guys are traveling through. It's just too dense.
Would you guys like a bit of aid in seeing in the dim light? I've gained a few gifts in the time that I've woken up. One of those including far vision in darkness. So
I can see quite fine, but depends. Not that far. Pretty far though. Not as far as they're apparently at.
I will take any aid you will give.
okay. Then he will use the Eyes of Night
Mm-hmm.
to give everyone for an hour 300 feet dark vision.
Including Porsche because it was up to 5, I believe.
Yep, because it's my wisdom mod.
Yeah, and because you already have it.
There you go.
It's real funny to me because it's like within 10 feet of you, and I'm like, that's actually a really cramped space for 5 creatures to occupy. So I actually imagine it's the everyone put your hands in the middle sort of moment.
Yeah, it's
Huddle.
you'll see the eyes behind his mask pulse with the purple, and then everyone's vision will become clearer. And if you look at each other's eyes, you see slight levels of purple like encroaching, like sort of around the edges of the iris.
My eyes even look more purple since they're already kind of purplish.
Yeah, but
That
so everyone
is
has 300 feet.
Lars goes from like holding on to like the holding on to like Gwen's like shirt to suddenly just going,
Hey.
oh, I can see.
Yes,
I can
that's-
fight.
Oh, God damn it.
Yep, every
That's
time.
about how it is.
Absolute mad lad.
I mean, most of you have seen in the dark before, but it's very nice to see much farther. Thank you. Don't stay too far out, and I'll make my approach. And for Dire's sake, I want to move and take the dodge action.
Okay, so you're not stealthing. Good to know.
I am not stealthing because
Alright.
it's. I don't trust that stealthing.
Although the rest of us should probably stealth.
The rest of you should stealth because obviously,
Yep.
if I'm not
Yeah.
stealthing, I'm more of a center of attention.
Lars is already finding a place he can lie low.
So
Yeah.
otherwise, basically,
even though
everyone
you're
should stay
going
a respectful
hollow.
distance. Yes.
Even though you're going to play the role of bait, you should still try to be sneaky up until the moment that you can get close to them. Because
Yeah.
they may not fall for it if there is any intelligence among them that we're unaware of if you are spotted ahead of time. You also may be able to learn why they're silent and above ground, so I
Very
would
well.
advise you to be as sneaky as possible.
Very well. I will, because I still have the cloak of many passions on. I will use that and make it do the thing that Lars did a while ago when I gave him it, and try to make it camouflage with the snow.
Sure.
Or
Well.
like the other ground. Depends. I don't know if it's completely snow covered.
Yeah,
Is it
everything's
difficult terrain?
covered in snow right now. So white.
Difficult terrain or
No.
okay.
It doesn't impair your
They will-
movement, but everything is covered in a fresh coat of snow.
It will do that.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's gonna help a bit, but I feel like it might.
Stealth checks
Especially
from
depending
everybody.
Ivar will pull out his longbow and notch an arrow, and will indicate that he is covering you.
I rolled an 18.
Yikes!
Hey.
That was good.
16 for me.
27 total.
Oh, wow! And Ivar was supposed
Beaten
to be
by
good at stuff.
Lars. I still, make sure everyone keeps a respectable distance because, yeah.
Don't ruin my stealth check. That's what I just heard.
It's more of a if I should be the one being attacked first, not you guys.
Oh, I need to roll for Porsche.
You
Damn.
do.
Oh. Come on,
Papa B stealth.
Yeah,
She's got a +5. That's a 12 plus 5, so 17.
Bring him.
I gotta get used to saying hollow instead of Edelweiss because hollow is saved only for dire DMs and not actually in game.
No.
Dire, my 18 was a 20 total. I just had to get to my sheet.
Oh, okay.
Also, one last thing while we prepare. Ivar cast protection poison on Gwen. Because she's a frontliner, just in case.
You like to
Also,
stand up front and get hit a bunch, right?
Thank you.
Yes, so there you
Yeah,
go.
you like to go do stupid shit.
You like to fuck around and find out. I'm here for it. Have protection, have resistance to poison
You
damage.
give the fucking around and finding out vibes, Gwen. I've never met you, but something about you.
Well, speaking of, Edelweiss, you begin hollow. Ooh, gotta get used to that all of a sudden. Hollow.
Same.
You begin moving forward relatively quietly. You weave in between the trees, the rocks, and the snow without leaving any trace of yourself behind. The cloak blending in with your surroundings. And as you close about 100 feet closer, is when you first get the whiffs of that smell that Gwen noted. The scent of rotted flesh that you know comes with these creatures.
Gross.
But likewise, you don't hear anything off in the distance. You keep creeping closer. 50 feet away. Still don't hear anything. 25 feet. You break through the trees and right just beyond getting into what is a clearing up ahead, you see a familiar sight. A remnant explosion of where one of these creatures once was. Flesh and dangly bits hanging off of trees and rocks all around you. And then when you look beyond, you see, in no uncertain terms, a massacre. Strewn over a frozen lake, dozens of these creatures. Make a perception check. You are reasonably disturbed and distracted. But one thing that you can't miss is the large, glowing purple-black portal resting atop this rock cliff all the way on the top right of the map.
I see.
Something came through here and slaughtered all of these creatures. And there are signs enough that this does not appear to be remnants from the White Cross Company. You can tell some of these creatures were grabbed and then dragged through the snow and ice in just a streak and smear of blood. Whatever killed these things brutalized them.
How far is everyone from me?
Probably 100 feet. I'm assuming they were moving at half your pace to remain stealthy boys.
That's a fair assumption.
Where am I? Where am I at?
That is a wonderful question. You are right there.
I don't see this big boy.
Trees in the way.
Okay.
It's a timing thing.
Well, definitely I'm gonna like hide behind, skirt behind the tree, and then just kind of pop out over here, ideally.
Then you see, trudging through the snow at a slow, trundling pace, this enormous, bull-headed creature, standing at roughly 12 feet tall, heavily muscle-bound, covered in healed-over scars from numerous battles. Lightly armored in various places, mostly plates of metal that look like they have been stitched into its flesh over vital organs. In either hand, it wields these jagged, serrated battle axes. And it's stomping through the area, making sure that nothing else is alive. You'll see it occasionally stop over what looks like a slightly more whole corpse, and with one of its hooves, it'll just stomp and crush the remnants of it and move on.
That's an interesting boy. Does it anything like it doesn't look like he might be from the Merc or comparing these creatures to the others in Spiny Boy. I'm bad at perceptioning though.
Yeah, that's fair. I actually want you to make I want you to make either it's either if you're proficient in Arcana, an Arcana check, and if you're not, it's a straight up intelligence check.
Unfortunately, I took out Arcana for nature. I'm just gonna use the saving for that, but that's
18.
pretty good.
Well, the one thing that is most important to note is that the Mercure is multiple layers of different planes that sort of bump up against each other. Imagine in a game of bumper cars, if each bumper car was a different plane, and the Merc is the ring. So at different points in times, these things bump up against one another, and they're all very wildly different in their ecology. So one creature from the Merc from one particular spot can be vastly different from another. So you can't discount this one as not being a creature from the Merc. It is entirely possible it is from the Merc. But given you are no expert in the Mercure, you don't know.
Let me see something for a sec. Where does everyone look like? They're standing away from me now.
Well, how close would the party get?
You go halfway behind. Otherwise, keeping a closer tail on them, halfway between them and the rest of the party. Keeping a closer tail because I do not want anything to get to the rest of the party. Seeing as what it is, though, don't know how useful I'm going to be.
I mean, you don't know what it is yet.
Oh, that's right.
But that still begs the question then, the rest of the group, excluding Gwen's input, how far away are you going to keep away from Hollow?
Ivar's going to keep generally near Lars and Kenna, generally wherever they go. But if conditions are met, roughly 100 feet away from Hollow, because that is within the close range of a longbow.
Yeah. That's about halfway there. I mean, so Lars, Kenna.
Yeah, that's pretty much what Lars was going to be doing, at least 100 feet away. So, well, not at least, like in and around 100 feet away. So yes.
Okay. Now that I'm parked and not driving, we're gonna do 60 feet from Hollow.
Okay.
And I will.
You can also see this bloodbath.
At the mention of the smells, I know. The dimensions of my smells,
Perception.
I summon Emba.
Okay.
Oh, I'm dead.
So that was back before we started moving close. When Gwen smelled him, I summoned Emba.
Okay.
And then I would be 60 feet from Hollow.
I'm back.
Oh,
Okie doke.
It's not coming up because of that hiccup. I do have my next move though. Dire.
Okay. What would you like to do?
Okay. So unfortunately, spells break stealth. However, this is a somatic material, so I want to hide behind the tree, and at 30 feet at another tree. Specifically, I'm not in the thing right now. It is at a diagonal or right by the ice, as Roll20 is coming back to me.
those are.
I want to, I want a minor illusion, the voice in, I guess a different voice, but in Infernal. It just to as a check. And it says, enjoying yourself from a different tree. To probably mask where I am. At a voice that you could probably hear.
Mm-hmm.
If you want me to roll some persuasion,
No,
maybe we can
it
get our
uses your
thoughts.
spell save DC.
Okay, use
That's
my
a good
spell
idea.
save.
Good idea.
That's nice.
The bull will turn around. Very, very
I moved
rapid.
up, by the way. Now I'm going to show where I moved. Kind of around here.
And it will begin walking its way in the general direction of the tree. And you'll hear it now speaking out loud, but it is in a language you do not understand. You see it clomping its way back. Its eyes very alert and just kind of checking corners around trees and edges.
Do I know what language it is, though?
Make an intelligence check.
Also,
I guess the
you can-
DC will be how easy it is for me to, like...
You can click on the name of the
I
ability.
know.
Actually,
I'm doing that now.
yeah. Okay.
Oh.
I didn't know how it worked with the mobile.
It's not great.
That's
It's in-
definitely a...
It's an equally unusual language to your own. I'm sure you as the player can figure it out from there.
It's abyssal is all I can think.
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah.
It will get over to the tree. Again, it's not moving aggressively. It's being very systematic. And it looks in the area, talking out loud to itself. Sweeping its axes through the air, brushing up snow. And you're watching as the snow is just kind of billowing over a section and then settling. And then it turns its attention to another spot. And it continues to kind of do that.
Can I try to make a break to move to another tree?
You
When
can.
it's turned around. I mean, like, check on that. Where would it be now? Where would they be now?
About there. He's moving very slowly. He's searching.
Okay. I will... Over on the boxes, I will, drag the voice there. And I will minor illusion speak. What are you here for, stranger? What are you here for, stranger? And try to head to the tree up off the map, I suppose.
You mean flee. Gotcha.
I mean, it's not really just fleeing. It's just heading behind another tree.
Tactical repositioning.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's repositioning. Also, that's everyone coming, so I can, like, wave a hand at people. And kind of try to, like, point that there's something behind.
And where was the next minor illusion?
It was by the crates.
Okay. You begin slowly backing up.
Yeah. Do I make a stealth check right after that, or?
No. Well, actually, yes. You've been casting spells, so please make another stealth check.
You can do it. You can do it.
Pretty good.
I have done it. Presumably.
As you're very quietly moving your way backwards towards another source of cover in the form of a tree, you watch as the bull's attention is brought over towards where the crates are, where you've cast the spell, but then it promptly turns its head back in the northern direction, moving slowly in that direction. And you just begin to hear it speak louder. Lixiod, Nitix, Zibizix. And you see it getting closer and sniffing. And that's when you hear it let out this bull's yell. This guttural, almost yowling sound.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just where we're going to end the session today.
No effect, no nothing. Just yowls.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like he noticed something.
Oh.
Like, someone not as stealthy as another member of the group.
Like, maybe like an 11.
Or even a 16 or a 17.
Oh, damn, it rolled high then, did it?
It has very good passive perception.
It was also actively searching, so, you know. Got that.
What an episode.
Dun dun dun.
So much exposition, lore, and
So much.
revealings, intertwined balls unraveling of yarn. Balls of
Thank
yarn.
you.
And
Very
sneaky
important.
energy.
Yes.
I was
Well-
thinking of casting flavors.
I mean, that's that. So, all right, we're gonna wrap up there, so that way we don't bleed over time. In case it wasn't obvious, the roadmap, prepare for combat next week, y'all. Because it's gonna get real. Other than that, and by next week I mean 2 weeks from now? Question mark. Which is what I'm always going to assume. Yeah, we're finished. So thanks for coming, thanks for watching, thank you guys for playing. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. A lot of talky bits today, but there was good talky bits. So I guess until next time, especially in all this hot weather, stay frosty.